Howdy folks, welcome to the stream. Feels like there should have been some sort of an intro to that, doesn't there really? But there wasn't. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Can I just get confirmation? You can hear me okay and you can see me okay and we're all good. Just going to wait for everyone to respond. In the meantime, I'm going to riff a little bit. How is everyone today? All good. There you go. I didn't need to riff very much there. All good. Okay, so starting off today, we've got a video from BritishAce. He's going to be running East Coastway. And, oh yeah, classic. Train Simulator 2013 shirt. It's still a good shirt. Very good shirt, in fact. It's nice and comfortable. Where was I? Stop interrupting me. So yeah, we've got BritishAce will be leading us in on East Coastway, and then after that, it's going to be the introduction to Train Sim World 2. So hold your horses, bear your excitement until then, and in the meantime, enjoy the BritishAce. Take it away, BritishAce. In a minute, get on with it. Come on.
Hello everyone and welcome to my slot on the Midweek Madness event being held by Dovetail Games. So massive thanks to Dovetail Games for the opportunity to be part of it. And yes, that's what we are doing. Today we're going to be showing off the East Coastway route, another superb route. And my second favourite route, obviously, being below the Brighton main line. Fantastic route though. We're going to be going from Seaford to Brighton, and then we're going to do Brighton to Lewes, and we're going to do that HUDless. So the first bit we're going to do HUD on, second bit we're going to do HUD off, just to show. So yeah, HUDless is the way to go on Train Sim World 2, but we'll show off both perspectives. But yeah, we're starting off with the Seaford to Brighton service, so let's get going. Right, so here we are now. Let's begin that, and let's get the train set up. So you're going to put the master key in, set that to neutral. We'll open the doors up as well, and also something which is important, AWS. Let's get that on. I'm not going to put on the DSD just yet, as I'm not too sure if the 3-on-3 has had its fix for the DSD yet. So I'm going to keep it off for now. I'm also going to do the dynamic brake control. I'm going to turn that to off, which is when you brake and it all of a sudden feels like it goes into full service, which is like, whoa. So you turn that off, which actually is more realistic as well. Sit back down, get the headlights on, headlights and marker lights, and we'll get the window open as well, just for the first bit over to Bishopstone. Right, let's get the doors shut. And I suppose we'll pretend there's a guard on this service as well, so we'll do the bell. Right, no, keep the HUD on. Keep it on for now. Right, let's get going. Leaving Seaford behind, it is Bishopstone next. But yeah, this is the East Coastway route, which came out back in December 2019. I still remember going on it in real life and just thinking next week, oh, I'll be driving some Train Sim World. Actually, I think I went to a football match. I can't actually remember the exact one. I think it was Brighton versus Wolves at the Amex. It was like the 8th of December or something in 2019. And yeah, thinking in about a week's time, I'll be driving this route on Train Sim World. It was brilliant. And it feels weird to think this route is, well, about 2.5 years old already. It's, yeah, I mean, it's how quick that's gone. And quite coincidentally, I was ill on the day the route come out, so I was sort of at home and I was like, oh, I'll get on it and play it most of the day. Yeah, good times. Let's go. Bishopstone is usually just there. You can already see the station. And we are on the 313, which is an excellent DLC for the East Coastway route. And I believe the route is 60% off, so that makes it, what, about £9.99ish, £10. And then the 313 is 50% off, I believe, so that would make it about £5-6 quid. But if you are thinking about getting East Coastway, get the 3-on-3 with it, especially if it's on sale. It's a beautiful train. Don't need to go too fast on this stretch. So about 40 or so. Yeah, the East Coastway runs from Brighton to Seaford, and also Brighton to Eastbourne. So you get two sort of sections. I'll show the route map in a second. Let's just come into Bishopstone. As we make our way in. Apologies if my voice is a bit sort of croaky. I mean, it happened as well on the first tour of rail. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. So, yeah. Oh no, not full service. Don't want that. Yeah, but that will do. So I actually find it harder to play with the HUD on than to do it HUDless. Just because I'm so used to doing this route, well, HUDless without all of the stuff on. But we'll do that once we get to Brighton. Here we are, this is Bishopstone. Look at that though. Gorgeous. I've been on this quite a few times actually, the 3-on-3s realistically. And I can say it does look superb, the model. And especially the livery as well. Spot on. You've got Brighton Pavilion, you've got Beachy Head. I believe that's Beachy Head. You've got the Lewis Castle Gateway there, or Gatehouse. You've got Brighton Pier, Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth, and Chichester Cathedral. Been to all of them. Let's get the doors shut, and it'll be Newhaven Harbour next. Oh yeah, route map. Here's the route map. So this is the Seaford branch, which is my favourite part of the route. And you got Brighton here, Lewis here, right in sort of the middle, and then Eastbourne over here, which is down there. Right, let's do the bell, set that to forward, let's get going. Let's watch it going out as well. Let's get a departing shot. Look at that, it's beautiful. And we're off. Yeah, it's a lovely train to drive. I'm so glad it's in the game as well. There we go. We are off. Get the HUD on as well before I forget to turn it on. Newhaven Harbour next. So yeah, making our way along the coast at the moment. There's the sea over there. Cool. But I'd say this route probably is a route for you if you're enjoying the, say, Brighton Main Line, Southeastern High Speed. Probably a route you'll like. And also probably if you're enjoying Cathcart as well, because this is the same family of train, this being the part of the PEP family. So if you enjoy one of those three routes, you'll most likely very much enjoy this route. And you also get the 377-4 for this route as well, but it's the old version in the game, which is still good, but obviously not as good as the London commuter version. Although I believe at some point the London commuter electro style, the 377, the sounds of that and stuff are going to go over to this route, which I'm very much looking forward to. Start bringing it down to 20. This is Newhaven, nice little port town. I believe from here you get the ferry over to Dieppe, I think it is. Bryan Ferries. And you've also got the infamous Newhaven Marine, which is there on the left. Not really a lot there nowadays, it's sort of just, well, yeah, the station platform isn't there anymore. I think that got taken down a few years back, so it's just sort of a siding now. And you've also got a semaphore as well. But yeah, here we are, Newhaven Harbour. But yeah, East Coastway, the route itself is 60% off, and the 313 is 50% off. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, it's on a sale at the moment, and a pretty good sale as well. Yeah, I would 100% recommend this route, but probably very biased there as well, as I've been on this route many times in real life, and as also one of my local routes, so I love it so much. Same with the Brighton Main Line, but we'll do that once we get to Brighton. No, on, yes, there. Right, let's get going. It's Newhaven Town next. And also a little note, if you do get the 313, you will have two timetables. You'll have the East Coastway release timetable, and then you also have the East Coastway Class 313 timetable. Now, I believe the reason for that is because the 377 is a 4-coach train, whereas the 313 is a 3-coach train. So it just, even when you think about it, just confuses me. You'd have to have two separate stop points for the two different trains on the same service. So even just thinking about it, it confuses me. So yeah, that's why you have got a separate timetable for the 313. Don't need to speed up too much as this is New Haven Town just here. Cool. 180 odd yards. I know, what does everyone prefer? East Coastway, the Brighton Main Line? Yeah, East Coastway or the Brighton Main Line for sort of southern routes. Maybe I'll count Southeastern High Speed as well, as that is in the southeast. What is your favourite? For me, it would be the Brighton Main Line. It's just, oh, it's an amazing route. Sort of proper shows off the capabilities of Train Sim World. You know, 1,000 odd services, plenty of layers and trains on it. It's great. But yeah, this is New Haven Town. Nice little station. Southeast after this, which is a station pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Let's get the doors shut. We are running a little bit. It's quite hard to stay to time on this one. Right, let's go. And we're off, leaving New Haven Town towards southeast. There we go. Now I think along there you've got the swing bridge. Or one of these, possibly this one here. There's a bridge that goes off the goes over the River Ouse, and it swings open to allow boats to go up. And we're off. Also on this train, you've got a partly working GSMR. You know, you can change the brightness there. Also contact the signaller using the SG button, which is realistic. You can do that in real life, and it will just come up with a message saying, I believe, like, waiting at signal, something, send into signaller. So that does sort of partly work on here. A step towards operational GSMR. Up to 70, you've got the New Haven aggregate area here, as well as the New Haven incinerator, which is a little bit of an eyesore on the landscape, but you know, it's got to be. I suppose it's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? Which also leads me to another thing I forgot. East Coastway also has the Class 66 on it as well, so you get the 377 and the Class 66 when you first buy the route. And it's the updated 66 as well, so much better to the Great Western Express one. And then obviously as DLC you've got the 313. I always forget about the 66 on here. Probably because I'm more of a passenger guy. 1.82 southeast. Yeah, you can do freight runs from, well, New Haven Aggregate up to Lewis. And then one of the scenarios, it's got cutting closures. You can drive from Brighton to Lewis. Or near enough Lewis. There we go. And this route does have all of its preservation updates. Well, I believe, yeah, the majority of them. It's got working level crossings now, working PIS. So it's got, you know, the main chunk of and the new skybox as well. It's got that as well. But yeah, personally, this is my favourite part of the route between New Haven and Lewis, whizzing up the Ouse Valley. Got the cows in there chilling out, and you got the river just over there as well. Yeah, it's lovely. And South East is just round here. There it is. So we want to start getting the brakes on. Yeah, you gotta love the motor sounds in this train as well. Cool. But yeah, if you are driving this train, do turn off the dynamic brake control. Put that to off. Makes it much easier, the brakes. And I believe it is more realistic as well. Cool. Yeah, I believe this will be going out on the 23rd of May, I believe. So it'll be, what, just over a week now to the Spirit of Steam. Who's looking forward to it? I can put my hand up. I am. It's going to be great. Yeah, Liverpool, Lime Street to Crewe. It's going to be good. And obviously Steam as well. It's completely different. And here we are. This is South East. Which, yeah, as I said, it's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. You've got, well, I suppose a few houses over there, but apart from that, there's not really a lot else going on. You've got a village over there called Rodmail on the other side, but yeah, not a lot going on. I don't know, these barriers had changed here. So that's forward, brakes off, and off we go. It is Lewes next, which is near enough the halfway point of the journey. Yeah, near enough. But yeah, the bit we won't be showing today is the Eastbourne section, so from Sutherland Junction over to Eastbourne. Which that's another nice section. You've got Glynde, Berwick, Polegate, Hampden Park, and then Eastbourne. Well, I think I probably prefer the Seaford services. Even though they're the slower services, you get to do them in the 313. So, that's always really fun. And we're off. Yeah, I remember the last time I was in, I used to go to Lewes quite a lot, as I've got relatives who did live there. Unfortunately now they have passed away. Well, not all of them, but yeah, I used to come to Lewes quite a bit, and the last time I was here in 2000 and, what was it? I think it was December 2019, so about the time this route actually came out. Hopefully you can't hear that thudding noise as well, the neighbours down there blooming driveway down. Hopefully you can't hear it, but yeah, I remember the last time I was here, it was all flooded. This whole area was all flooded and all underwater. It was quite impressive. As I was standing up on one of those hills over there, going. Well, you might know it actually if you're a Lewes local, you've been around Lewes. The hills up by the Neville Estate, up that way, sort of looking out over the river and all flooded, and yeah, it was quite impressive to see it. Although this area did flood actually really bad, I think back in 2000. Yeah, the 2000 Lewes floods, I think it was 2000. As my uncle actually worked in Lewes signal box for about 30 odd years, called Robert. And he remembers having to close the line because the river, or the water from the river was coming up through Lewes Tunnel, sort of submerging the lines. That's another reason why it's quite slow through Lewes as well, because it's so prone to flooding. Yeah, I remember Uncle telling me he had to sort of, you know, call up and say, "Oi, we need to shut the line," because the water was coming up through Lewes Tunnel. Yeah, back in 2000s, this all flooded quite badly back then. But yeah, coming up on Sutherland Junction. There we go. That's down to 40. Now we join up the line from Eastbourne. As that comes up, yeah, hopefully you can't hear the thudding as the neighbours are having their driveway done. And it goes up to 60. Let's get that up. Cool. Vestibule light. Fluorescent light. I don't think I've actually ever turned those on, you know. I don't think I've actually ever turned any of them on. Got the aircon there as well. But yeah, these trains got, that's the River Ouse. These trains got refurbished back in 2010. Still remember when they came into service on, that's actually when I lived on the West Coastway route. Still remember seeing them start to appear back in, yeah, all the way back in 2010 now. Doesn't seem that long ago. And then soon I think they will be going, the 313s, or soon enough. Should be sad to see them go. I suppose to an average commuter, going from a 377 to a 313 probably was quite a downgrade. But, you know, as a train enthusiast, it's great. Yeah, an older train coming down south. Brilliant. As these used to run above London, actually. They used to be with, I think, Great Northern and Silverlink. But yeah, in 2010, some of them came down south. Can't remember how many Southern actually have in total. There's a 377. There's that signal box there, Lewis signal box. Remember, yeah, my uncle used to work for about 30 years. That was off to Hastings. But yeah, this is the old 377 in the game, which ain't bad. It doesn't sort of have the smart PIS where it scrolls through the stations on the inside. And has the old sounds as well. And off that way is the Kemah branch. That goes up Cooksbridge, Plumpton, and then Withersfield. So if you've got the Brighton main line route, London commuter, the line that goes off just after Withersfield, that connects up to there. Which I always hear people saying, why don't they connect East Coastway and the Brighton main line up? It would be easy. You know, going off from the Withersfield to Lewis, but that's still sort of 7-8 miles, that bit of track. That's not something easy to do. And also combining the London commuter and East Coastway together wouldn't really make sense too much, because this route is set a few years back. I think this route is set in 2015-16 time, and off we go. A bit like what Matt was saying a few weeks back about route extensions, theoretically. Say if they extended the Great Western Express route, say to, I don't know, Swindon, it would be a bit weird sort of doing the London to Reading bit, which is the oldest British route in the game, and then going on to a super shiny new section to Swindon, which has got all the latest and greatest Train Sim World 2 features. And looks, you know, really good and up to date. It would sort of be a bit weird, sort of going from that route to the new bit, which is, you know, new and nice looking and just looks really up to date. It would sort of be that weird transition between the two. So it's easier to redo the full thing than just do an extension. So I suppose that's a bit like, say, East Coastway and the Brighton main line, as this is one of the older routes in the game. It would sort of be a bit weird to combine them. I mean, it would be cool, but yeah. Anyway, off we go. Let's say hello to the donkey. Where's the donkey? It's in there. It's there. There's the donkey there. Which, if you don't know, Dovetail games do hide donkeys on their route as like a little sort of Easter egg thing to find. So yeah, see if you can find any. Yeah, I believe every Dovetail route has a donkey. And 4 miles to Falmer. We're definitely going to be running late. But yeah, this route is 60% off at the moment, which probably would price it around sort of £10. And would I say get it? Yes, it is a brilliant route. And that's, yeah, if you're enjoying, say, the Brighton main line, South Eastern, even Cathcart, you'll probably enjoy this route. And then the 313 is 50% off. But if you do get East Coast, I get the 313 with it. Well, that's what I would recommend. So if they're on sale, oh, this is, I must admit, this is PC only. This is Steam. It's on sale. I'll probably actually be in chat and I'll just say it's Steam only, the sale. But yeah, on Steam it is 50% off for the 3-on-3 and 60% for East Coastway. So I'd imagine I'll be watching the stream. You probably would see me put that in chat saying it's Steam only. But yeah, 50% off on the 3-on-3 and 60% off for East Coastway. So that would price all of it at about, what, 16 quid? So really not bad at all. Very, very good value for money there. Let's get that up. Cool. And yeah, obviously massive thanks again to Dovetail Games for giving us the opportunity to show off the East Coastway route and be part of the Midweek Madness event. It's been great. I thought we had the window open. When did we close? When after we closed the window? I thought we had it open the whole time. Don't know. Can't remember when we closed it. Yeah, 2.5 miles to Falmer, which is where we go past the Amex Stadium, which is the what, 3rd football stadium in the game? 2nd? I want to say 3rd, but I think it is the 2nd. You've got the Amex, you've got Wembley on the Bakerloo line. Yeah, I think it would be the 2nd. Well, actually, no, you have sort of got Gillingham Stadium in the game. So technically 3? Yeah, we'll go for 3. Yeah, because when you're going past Gillingham Depot on the southeastern high speed, if you're heading towards between Rainham and Gillingham, look to your left, you'll sort of see the one of the stands of Gillingham's stadium. So I guess 3. Just trying to think if there's any more. I think I'm missing one. Where am I? Don't know. Got the little sun visor there. You can pop down. Cool. And yeah, if you do own the 3-on-3 and East Coastway and you are on PC or one of the next gen consoles, you will actually see the 3-on-3 on the Brighton main line. Which we actually did for our Festival of Rail video, so feel free to look back and have a look at that, where we ran the 3-on-3 from Lovers Walk to Selhurst. This is Falmer Tunnel, there's another 3-on-3, and into Falmer Tunnel. Got to be fairly careful coming into Falmer. You will notice the grade is pretty steep coming into the station. You can see that it's starting to go down even more here as well. So yeah, pretty steep coming into Falmer. Just be careful when you're coming into the station. Many a times I've been so close to overshooting the marker here, because it's pretty. I mean, it's down 1 in 93. So every 93 metres it goes down by 1, which is quite a bit. So I tend to take it fairly slow into Falmer. And here we are, this is Falmer. Now we've got Moulsecoombe, London Road and then Brighton. Fairly busy as well here. And here we are, this is Falmer. We are here. Cool. Let's go. And yeah, that ding ding is, I'm just trying to replicate what the guard would do. So on the 3-on-3s they still have guards. So the guard would press the buzzer twice, and the driver will do the buzzer twice back. The train then goes. So off we go. Just under 2 miles to Moulsecoombe. Which I must admit, I have heard some funny pronunciations of a couple of stations on this route. One being Lewis, which I've heard a lot of time called Lose, and it's like, oh, Lose. No, it's Lewis. And also Molescombe, which I've heard quite a few pronunciations of as well. Just trying to think of the funniest pronunciation I've heard of Molescombe. Probably Mellerscombe or something, like Mollerscombe or something like that. But yeah, Molescombe. But then I suppose I do live around. I used to live in Brighton, so. And well, I live in the south, so. Yeah. So you could probably catch me out on like a northern station, like Stalybridge or something. I'll probably just pronounce that wrong. It's probably Stalybridge. One miles to Molescombe. Get that up. And also, what I forgot to mention, when you are at Falmer, sometimes randomly in the afternoon, you actually hear football crowd, which is quite cool. You just hear, noises from the football stadium to sort of, tell you there's a match on, which is really cool. Right, bringing the speed down now for Molescombe. It's a very short platform, so don't go 40, 30 miles an hour into it. It just won't work. It won't happen. So, yeah, come into Molescombe fairly slowly. There's another train there. That's probably the Lewis service. But yeah, the Lewis and the Seaford services are done by 313s. Although I think one of the later evening Seaford services is done actually by an 8-coach 377. I know it used to be. Because I think the service which comes down to London, goes down to Seaford from London Victoria, there's one in the evening at around, I think, 7 o'clock. I don't know if it might have been changed to a 4-car now. But I think that actually does the Seaford service in the evening. So yeah, some Seaford services are the 377, but for the most part it's the 313. On the 313 timetable, if you go back to the old timetable, all of the services are 377s. Nice and smooth. There we go. Brakes off. Let's go listen to that. Off we go. Oh, it seems our middle coach lights aren't on. I can sort that. There we go. I think it might be a glitch there, but yeah, if you just do light in trip, hold that, click it a few times, then light in set. That should then sort that. Yes, it's on now. HUD on. There we go. Got to remind myself to turn it on. But it's true though. Once you've done a route so many times HUDless, it actually probably is harder to do it with the HUD. It sounds really weird saying it's hard to do it with the HUD on, but when you're so used to playing like this, and you turn that on, it's like, whoa, I can see all the things. I don't want to see all the things. It just makes it harder. And East Coastway probably is a really good route for learning HUDless, and one of the easier ones as well. Because you can sort of split it into sections. Learn Brighton to Lewis first, HUDless. Then maybe go the extra miles to Seaford, learn that section, and then the next bit's Eastbourne. So it's one of the probably easier routes to do HUDless. And that's not too many speed changes either. Then around here you actually had an old station called Lewis Road Station. Somewhere around here. I think it was I'm trying to think where it came off. I think it came off where this warehouse is here. There used to be a junction that went off, and you had a station on that corner called Lewis Road Station, and it went over the Kemptown Viaduct to Kemptown. Well, through the across the viaduct into another tunnel, and then to Kemptown Station, which you can actually still see the tunnel portal at Kemptown behind the Gala Bingo area. Obviously, if you live in Brighton or live around Brighton. And here we are, this is London Road. I don't think I've actually ever got off at London Road. No, I never got off of it. Right to the end of the platform. And then probably the most magnificent part of the route is coming up after this. Or one of the most beautiful bits of architecture. Architecture, not texture. And here we are, this is London Road. And yes, it is quite hard staying on time on this timetable, so just ignore how late we are. But if you're going to get the route, I would recommend getting both together. And we're off. Got the 30 miles an hour over the viaduct, and that comes down to 20 in a second. Lovely. But yeah, this is pretty magnificent coming across here. Look at this. Look at that. It's amazing. Real life as well. Yeah, being under the viaduct look at that. Being under it many times in real life is, yeah, pretty magnificent. There's a 377. Sort of flying over the whole valley. It's great. Then it comes down to 20. And so we're going into platform 7. And yeah, this line here, which goes off up there, that is the Brighton main line, which also is on Train Sim World 2, known as the London Commuter. That's the route that goes up there. So if you have got London Commuter, you probably will recognise it. But yeah, this is Brighton. Remember, many a times doing this route and just thinking, oh, I wish the Brighton main line was in the game. That would be brilliant. And sort of just looking up, looking up that way and thinking, one day, hopefully we can go up there. And now we can. I'm pretty spoilt for choice when it comes to TSW routes. I've got East Coastway, the Brighton main line, as two of my local routes. It's great. And as I like third rail stuff, South Eastern High Speed, that's third rail. But then I have grown up in a third rail territory, so probably do lean towards that a bit more. And this is Brighton. Cool. We made it. Come down to 10 miles an hour. There you go. Love the clickety-clack noises on here as well. Bam, bam, as we come into Brighton. But yeah, it's a lovely journey along from Seaford. And now what we'll do is we'll do a Brighton to Lewes service, and we'll do it HUDless. So my sort of more preferred way to play the game. Maybe you guys could even play along. Do the same service, try it HUDless, and just sort of follow along about what I do on here. And here we are. This is Brighton. DRA. Get that on. Set that to full service. It's off. Set the tail lights on. But yeah, this is Brighton. You got working PIS on here as well. Which I believe this actually came before the Brighton mainline PIS. As I think we got this when Boston Sprinter came out. You got PIS on East Coastway. So sort of, cool to see it, looking at the PIS there and thinking, in a couple of months we'll be driving up that way. There we go. Right. Well, I'm going to change over to East Coast. Change over to the Lewes service now. I'll see you all in a second.
Right, I thought I'd quickly show you what you do get on the East Coast route, mentioning all of the different stuff you get on it. So for the journey mode, you get 2 chapters for the sort of base route, so 377 plus 66 driver, and then South Coast Shuttle is in the 3 on 3, you get 3 chapters: Seaford Jobs, Stick of Rock City, and Surfs Up. And then for the scenarios, you get 8 scenarios. So this is what the 3 on 3 DLC. So it should be 5 base ones and 3 3 on 3 ones. So French Connection, Loose Connection, Class Enclosure, Enthusiast Excursion, Eastbourne End, and the last 3 are the 3 on 3 ones, the Double Trouble, Far Reaches, and It's Coming Home. And then timetable, 502 services, although don't be mistaken, it's not the same timetable. You get 2 different timetables on the East Coastway. You get the East Coastway 2019 one, 2021, and then you also get the East Coastway 3 on 3 timetable, so you can see you get a few more trains before service. But anyway, let's actually go drive trains again.
Right, here we are now on the Brighton to Lewes service. Let's get this one ready to go. So master key, do the door, set that to neutral, set the headlights to head marker lights, dynamic brake control, we'll turn that off again. There it is there. AWS, get that on, and now we wait. There you got a 377 over here. That'll probably be the, what, 1001 service to Orr? I think that'll be an Orr one. Orr Hastings, probably Orr. I'm going for Orr. That is, yeah, to Orr this one. Which I do love the way the PIS now goes beyond the end of the route. As before, you used to have it, I'm thinking route, what route? Southeastern, I think, used to do it. I think it might, and I think it has been changed. But they used to say, you know, well, for example, on this one, it would say Falmer, Lewis, Glynde, Berwick, Hampden Park, Eastbourne. That would be it. But now it says Hampden Park, St Leonard's, Warrior Square, Hastings, and all. It sort of goes beyond the end of the route. I do like that. So it makes it more realistic. Right. Let's get the train going, and we're doing HUDless on this one as well, which in my opinion is the best way to play Train Sim 1. I mean, look at this, proper clean, HUD's gone, it's just us and the train, and we're off. To me, this is actually easier than doing with the HUD on this route, and we're off. Cool. So leaving Brighton, be London Road. Let's just get that open as well. Get a little bit of air in here. I'll close it once we get to a bit of a higher speed. Well, this first section's fairly slow. But yeah, leaving Brighton. Look at that. Awesome. Great trains to go on the 3-on-3. If you ever are down south, try and get on a 3-on-3. It's amazing. Especially in summer as well. You know, summer early morning time as you're whizzing along the coastway, you know, good scenery. You got the sound of the motors screaming, the air rushing through at you. It is an experience. It's brilliant. Going up to 30 as we go over the London Road Viaduct. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, up to 30, and London Road is just on the other side of the viaduct. Hence the name London Road Viaduct and London Road Station. That'll do, we'll coast that and start putting a little bit of breakage. So we are a 3-car stop marker, and I think it is quite close to the well, quite close to us. Yeah, there's the marker. Here we are, this is London Road. I'm somehow running 45 seconds late already, like how? We literally left on time and went to the right speed. It's quite a tight timetable in the 3-1-3. And we've got Moulsecoombe, Falmer and then Lewis at 10:07. Everyone's getting off. Come on, guys. The driving's not that bad. Come on. Come all getting off. Okay, we've still got a few people on. Good. Let's go. Then we've got London Road Tunnel, which there is 3 tunnels on this route. There's London Road, well, I suppose possibly 4 you could count. But the three are London Road, Falmer, and then Kingston Tunnel, and then Lewis Tunnel as well, but you don't drive through that, so... There's number 313 there, whizzing through. Well, it should be slowing down. Yeah, you can't even slow down now. We are off. Yeah, one of the most enjoyable ways to play TSW is HUDless. You know, get all of the stuff off and it's just you and the train. You have to know where the stations are, the speed limits. It's brilliant. So yeah, I do recommend it. Maybe even throw yourself in the deep end. Sort of, you know, do the route a couple of times with the HUD on the third run, get it off, and just sort of let yourself, it all sort of flow back, and you'll be like, ah, yeah, there's that station, that's the speed there. Yeah, it's great though, doesn't it? Let's get that up. Cool. Is that fully up? But you've got the camshaft system on this train. What are the camshaft ones? I think it's like shunt, isn't it? Shunt, series, parallel, and weak field, I think it is. So it's all of the steps on the train. Yeah, coming into Moulsecoombe station, which I think has a slightly longer platform on the eastbound side. Although you still want to come in fairly slow, sort of 20-25 miles an hour. Here we are though, Moulsecoombe. And also you are going uphill as well, so you've got to factor that in as well, so don't brake too much, otherwise you'll probably stop a bit early. Here we are, this is Moulsecoombe. That's Falmer after this. But yeah, a fair few of the British routes I can do HUDless, and then German routes as well. German routes tend to actually be one of the easiest to learn HUDless. As if, well, you have to know PZB, the signals and all that sort of stuff. But if you know that, German routes do tend to be fairly easy. Because, I mean, all the speed limits, it tells you beforehand. All of the sort of, you know, signal point speeds, it just tells you beforehand. So German routes actually tend to be quite easy to learn HUDless as well, if you know the safety systems and the signals. Which was in itself is a fair bit to learn. And then American routes. What American routes can I do HUDless? Harlem and Long Island, I can do those two HUDless. I'm thinking other routes I can do. Boston Sprinter, fairly confident-ish with, at least where the station stops are. Peninsula Corridor, probably on a fast service, yes. So yeah, a few routes I can do. And I get a lot of questions saying, how do you remember where the stations and speeds and stuff like that is? It's all off memory. Yeah, it's all off memory. I mean, like real life, you would have to learn the routes off by heart. You wouldn't have the HUD up in real life saying, you know, in 10 miles stop there. You have to know. You have to know. You just have to know. But yeah, once you've driven the route sort of, you know, over 10 times, you probably will actually, you know, you'll be thinking, oh, yeah, that's going to be 50 in about a mile's time. So turn the HUD off, give it a go. Yeah, off we go. Cool. But yeah, hopefully everyone is enjoying my midweek madness. And obviously, massive thanks again to Dovetail Gamers for giving us the opportunity to be part of it. It's been a real pleasure. yeah, coming up to Falmer, which is just round here. And yeah, if you don't know my channel, I do, well, the BritishAce. I do daily Train Sim World streams and content. Well, streams. So yeah, every day we do Train Sim World for at least an hour, or 50 minutes to an hour. Depends what route, really. But there will be links at the end. And here we are. But yeah, I've been playing Train Sim World now for, well, almost 4 years, because it came out to the PlayStation 4 back in I think it was July the 24th, 2018. And the way I remember that was actually my last day of school. Well, I'm in year 10. Yeah, back in 2018. Yeah, it was the last day, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, can we just go? I want to play TSW. And pretty much for the whole summer, I was just playing TSW. Yeah, it's yeah, brilliant. Good memories. It's just great to see how far the game's gone as well. Right, let's go. Here is Lewis next. Yeah, that's a good point actually as well. I don't know if you can buy Train Sim World, the first one, anymore. I think it did actually get removed from the PlayStation Store and the Steam Store, but if you can, you know, for a key website. If you're interested in the Northeast Corridor New York route, so that is the Newark Liberty International Airport to New Rochelle route, yeah, that is on Train Sim World, just the first one, Train Sim World 2020. Well, Train Sim World / Train Sim World 2020. Which is good fun. And we come up to Falmer Tunnel. Here's a good question for everyone in chat. What do you want to see more of? Do you want to see more third rail routes or more overhead wire routes? What do you prefer? Personally, I would love to see more southeast third rail routes. But, I mean, that is completely biased, as I do live down this way. And, well, love my third rail routes. But yeah, what do you lot want to see? Overhead or third rail? Now I'll coast that. No point speeding up anymore, as it's down quite a steep gradient down to Lewis. Pretty much downhill the whole way. It comes down to 55, then down to 10. Cool. Yeah, this is one of the smaller services on the East Coastway, which is the Lewis shuttle, being about sort of, well, I think the quickest I've done it in is about 17 minutes. So, yeah, fairly sort of short little services to do. Nice and easy to do, though. There's quite a bit of variety in services you can do on the East Coastway. There's the Brighton to Lewis services, which is shuttle backwards and forth. You can sit on them all day. There's the Brighton to Seaford services, which are around sort of 35-40 minutes. You can sit on them all day, just going backwards and forth. And then you get the Brighton to Eastbourne services, which are about 40-45 minutes. You probably couldn't sit on them all day, as it does go out of the map past Eastbourne. And you've also got the Class 66 services from New Haven to Lewis, which are about 15 minutes each. There's a fair few of them as well. What's the other services? Yeah, London Victoria to Seaford, so Lewis to Seaford, which are sort of around 20 minutes, well, probably 15-20, and then the vice versa, Seaford to Lewis, which is around 15 minutes. But there's only 2 of them. You got one in the morning from Seaford to Victoria, and then one in the evening from Victoria to Seaford. Obviously, starting at Lewis and ending at Lewis on those services. Right, coming down to 55. Yeah, still remember finding out East Coastway was coming to the game. We actually, well, this is when teasers, when Dovetail did teasers. So we had a screenshot of a level crossing in between Lewis and Glide. And straight away I was like, that looks familiar. The downs in the background. And I remember sort of going on Google Maps and just looking at the whole sort of stretch of line in the south, sort of on southern routes. And I came across to the place, and I was like, that looks really, really similar to what the teaser is. And then one of my mates, who did work experience with me on GTR, so that's what I want to do in future. I want to work for GTR, so go via Thameslink Railway, anything really, station dispatcher, OBS driver. I remember he was like, "Yep, that's East Coastway, from Brighton to Seaford and Eastbourne." Which was great. And then we got the sort of official announcement. We sort of confirmed it. It was like, whoa, this is going to be good. The amount of hype for this route was, it was insane. It's, yeah, good memories. And it's just great to see how far the route's come as well. Obviously now have all of the upgrades, PIS, level crossings, the 3-on-3. So it's good. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's great to see how Train Sim World has evolved over the last sort of, well, 5-6 years if you're a PC player. It's awesome. I still remember the first time seeing Train Sim World. I think it was actually one of Squirrel's video. I'm sure everyone here knows Squirrel. I remember watching one of his videos on Sandpatch Grade, and I was thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. This looks really good, actually. But I was like, oh, probably PC only. Which at the time I was like console only. And then we had I remember this is actually the way I found Train Sim World when it first came to console. It was just really sort of just a coincidence. I was looking at the store. I think it was on June the 1st, 2018. I was just looking at the PlayStation store. I think it was a weekend, just looking at games, simulator games. And I looked up Sim and I saw Train Sim World. I was thinking, hang on, I recognise that game. And it was like, that's coming to console? And I sort of had to confirm. I looked up online, Train Sim World, PlayStation, it was there as well, and I was like, oh. And then I remember just, well, pre-ordering it straight away. Yeah, very good memory that is. Realising TSW was coming to consoles. And here we are, this is Lewis. But yeah, this has been the East Coastway route, which is currently 60% off on Steam in the 3-on-3, which is 50% off. And if you are getting East Coastway, do try and get the 3-on-3 with it as well. It makes it much, much better. Obviously, you don't need to get it, but personally, I'd say it makes it much better. Here we are. This is Lewis. We made it. But yeah, massive thanks to Dovetail Games for giving us an opportunity to be part of the Midweek Madness event, and also, well, probably, oh, there's a 66, probably, oh, whoa, hello, well, let's not look at that, say, a custom livery there from the Creators Club. Let's go to this and it'll be quieter, so hearing the shed rattling on. But yeah, hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. Obviously, massive thanks to Dovetail Games for giving us the opportunity to show this off. Let's quickly just do that. In fact, let's go and sit in the train. Yeah, let's go and sit in the train. And yeah, that livery you saw on the 66 is, that's on the Creators Club. I think it's like it's supposed to be a British rail, in fact, it might actually be a real one actually. But yeah, it's from the Creators Club. You'll be getting the EWS livery. Let's just sit, there's not really any proper good seats on the 3-on-3 really. Let's just sit there. There we go. But yeah, that is going to be it from me. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. Remember, yeah, 60% off on Steam for the route and 50% off for the 3-on-3. But yeah, that is about it. You should see my links on the screen now: Instagram, YouTube, Discord, that sort of stuff. Feel free to come over to my channel, and also do stick here. I'm sure after this will be another awesome bit of content on, so well, stick around, give the Midweek Man the stream a like. But yeah, hopefully everyone has enjoyed it, and yeah, not long now till the Spirit of Steam either. But yeah, hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. That was me, the British Ace Joe, showing off the East Coastway route. Apart from that, thanks all for coming in, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. See you all, take care, bye guys.
Well, that's captured the game really well, hasn't it? That's done a really good job. Let me remove that game capture that's not working and try another one that might well be working. Like that. No, that's wrong. Don't do that. That's completely wrong. That's better. Now we're in the right order. Yeah, that was a rather good outro, wasn't it? That's a brilliant video. Big thank you to BritishAce for that lovely run on the East Coastway. I must say it's a favourite of mine as well. It doesn't take too long to go from end to end. You can have a good bit of fun doing it. It's got some nice varieties of drives, and obviously you've got 313 and the and that Electrostar plastic stuff that you can drive as well. Yes, moving on. Tonight we are doing an introduction to TSW2. Now, for many of you that are watching, this may not come as particularly new information, but it's here so that other people who are watching, who are maybe new to the game, and later on when this is a video on YouTube, can have a look and get used to how the game works and see more about it. I'm not going to teach you how to look up, look down, look left, and look right. Sonic Scott, the game does that to death. Right, okay, so for those of you who are looking for previews of Spirit of Steam, I believe it's tomorrow. There won't be any Steam tonight. Tonight is purely a introduction to TSW2. Right, let's get on. Let me get my notes. I've made some really, really rough notes. Let me see if I can adjust my screen so that I can see the chat and I can see my notes. I'm the wrong person to ask about achieving action points, Jason. Right. For our PZB PowerPoint, I'm not allowed to use PowerPoint. I did make inquiries about whether I could do this introduction with PowerPoint, but they've said no, do it in the game. It's apparently more relevant. So, let's get on with it. I'm waffling. So, Introduction to Train Sim World 2. If you are brand new to the game, I am going to go through everything from minute one you boot the game up, and take you through just what the game is, how it works, and so on and so forth. So we're going to start off, having booted the game up, you've got some nice videos, and it probably will ask you to sign up for Dovetail Live. I strongly recommend you do it. It is optional, but I strongly recommend you do it. What I am going to do is just switch it to this one, just a minute, while I click sign in, type in my details, because for part of this I will need to be logged in. Right, and we're back. So having logged into Dovetail Live, so first thing is the little green icon up here. This is the Dovetail icon, and the fact that it is green means that Dovetail Live is connected, working, and uploading data. If that says something like not connected or anything like that, that means it's not working and you can go in and upload. This needs to be green for something called mastery to work and all of the other data recording to work. It's up to you. If you don't want any of that stuff, then it doesn't matter. But if you want to be able to upload screenshots to Dovetail Live, if you want to use Creators Club, which I'll cover, or mastery, any of those things, that green icon tells you you're working. There is an exception. Sometimes the game gets out of sync and thinks it's logged in, but it really isn't. So if anything seems a bit odd, just log out and log in again inside the game. And when we get a bit further in, I'll show you how to do that. So let's. We need to create a profile. We can have multiple profiles. So if I click Create New, and this is just so that you can see what your character is going to look like. So there's the character down there. Now, whenever I create a profile, I usually pick a character that's completely different to what everybody else does, just purely because in the past, in some of the testing that's gone on, we found actually a number of people were using this character because it's the default one. It's the one-click option. So I generally pick something completely different. So I've got my character here. Now you can click on these to find out what it's going to look, what the character's going to look like in different uniforms. It isn't. You're not selecting uniform. Okay. So it's just so that you can preview what your driver's going to look like in the different driving uniforms. Right, so we'll click Create Profile. I'm going to call my profile with shockingly surprising name, and it's now asking me about privacy policies and particularly around the Bidstack stuff. So Bidstack is in-game advertising. It's currently only used in 3 routes, if I remember rightly, and the idea is it provides real-time real advertising into the game, which should be on theme and interesting, and it's also different every time you run the game. You can click the links to view the policies, and once you've done that, click the tick box. By default, real-world adverts are enabled. If you don't want them, untick it. Bear in mind, at this point, nothing has gone back to Bidstack. They don't get any personal information through this anyway. It's just literally a download of, or effectively, what region, what country you're in, basically, because that's where the request comes from. But so if you untick that, if you don't want them, then it just won't touch the Bidstack stuff at all. If you leave it on, then you'll get some real-world adverts in the game. So we click Continue. Right, so we are going to pick. There are 3 routes in the core of Train Sim World 2, which is the Sandpatch Grade for America, Underground Bakerloo Line in the UK, and Schnellfahrstrecke Köln in Germany, which is the Koln-Aachen line. Now I'm going to do. Let's do Schnellfahrstrecke Köln because it's we get to see a little bit more. So we'll let that load. And what it's going to do now is put you into the route intro. Now I'm going to shut up while we do the route intro because it's going to talk, and we'll end up talking against each other, and that's just not fun to listen to. So let me shush now. Oh, hang on. Slight flaw in that plan is that earlier on, because the audio was getting in the way, I muted it. So let me just press apply and come back, and I will shut up now.
An immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world.
So we press E to begin. The purpose of Then you've gone away. Train. Leave. Wow, that's a long train. Oh, that is loud, isn't it? Let me just turn the audio volume down. It's just looking at the bars over there, and that is a little on the loud side. Let me 50% that. That looks a bit better. I've turned the game volume down even more. Right, okay. Hopefully that's okay. Let me know if that's too quiet. So the purpose of this is basically put me into the game world, and this is what we call a route introduction. So this is going to introduce this Koln-Aachen route. We're actually in Köln at the moment. So I'm going to press E to begin, because that's what it says to do. I'm on PC, if that's not obvious.
You've just been awarded some action points. These are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience. It is necessary to be fully observant of the surrounding world.
It's time to learn the skills.
Practice by looking up, down, left and right.
So it does this because a lot of people that come into Train Sim World 2 are not coming from a gaming background, so this might be their first experience of using first person. However, it's no longer being done. As of Spirit of Steam onwards, we're stopping doing it. We're going to do a different way. It'll be good. You like it. Right, would you like to invert the axis? So if when you move the mouse, the up and the downer is not working the way you want, you can invert your axis here. If you then want to change it, there is a setting option that lets you do it later on. For now, probably you want to click
Besides
no.
operating trains, there are lots of requirements to navigate on foot. Try moving around now.
So I'm going to use the use the WAS and D keys to move around. You want to find these objectives. These are your walk to markers. What's this?
This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one.
Whoa. Where we go? Find the blue thing and the icon. Now, while we're on the subject, because I just saw an empty thing here. This looks interesting. More collectible hype! Right, okay. Get back on target. So if the marker you're going to is off the screen, it goes off to the left-hand side, so that tells you which direction to look and find it. Sometimes that can disappear a little bit into the background, so if you don't know what you're doing, scan around the edge of the screen and see if you can find it. Press the Shift key to run and be less bored. One thing you'll notice is when you approach a vehicle, the vehicle, when you're at a distance, it just indicates the vehicle you need to go to. It's not telling you what to do in the vehicle. Once you get close to it, or get on it, it'll change to something different. Right, sit in any available seat in this carriage. Well, clearly I'm going to sit here, because that's the best view in the house.
You can pause the experience at any point and review previous and current objectives. Check it out now, then return to the game when ready.
So I pressed E to sit down in the chair, and you can press E to stand up. We're doing that in a minute, that's spoilers. So I'm going to press Escape, and in the Escape menu you've got a bunch of stuff. So you've got your map, showing the where things are and what's going on, so you can see I'm at Koln-Aachen, and the rest of what the map looks like is here as well, over to Aachen. Schedule, so this is the schedule of this service. It'll mean more when you get into a real train service. Message log is everything that's happened before, so if there was an instruction and you can't remember what it was to do, press E to get in and out of any available seat, for example, then you can review all instructions here that have gone in the past. Over here you've got the control guide, so this will show a controller on consoles, it will show the keyboard if you're on a PC. You've got the HUD guide, which gives you an outline of what you're going to see when you sit in the HUD. Now, you haven't seen this stuff yet in this world here where you've forgotten how to play Train Sim World 2, and I'm teaching you, you haven't seen the HUD yet. You'll see it soon. Is this for PC users only, Ratifus? No, it's on console. You know that, don't you? And over here we've got options, and over on options is where you can exit the game, drop back to the main menu. So if you don't want to do this, you just go back to the main menu here. You can go into your settings, or you can restart what you're doing. But I'm just going to press Escape again and go back to the game. Follow the marker to the staff door, press E to get in and out of seats. There you go, see? So walk to the marker. Right, you open doors by clicking on them. Big echo on that door.
A lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the driver's seat.
So press E again to sit down in the seat.
A heads-up
Right, the HUD has
display
appeared.
on the right side of the screen. This is a guide to what the train is doing. This is the speed display. The white needle shows current speed. The red marker indicates the maximum permitted speed.
Press E to continue.
This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions. This is the power display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in.
Oh, right, Retifus. So I'm doing this on PC. However, you'll get equivalent instructions on consoles for what buttons to press. So when it says press E to continue on an Xbox, you'll get press A to continue. And on a PlayStation, you'll get press cross to continue. You'll get the just follow the local instructions for your system, and it should explain exactly what you need to do.
These are brake indicators. They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them. In the top right, there are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication of what is approaching and a countdown distance to when they will come into effect. Some of these displays can be hidden via the settings menu for a more challenging experience.
Yeah, if you go into the settings menu up here, then there are options such as next speed limit marker, next signal marker, next speed limit hard, next signal hard, and next signal aspect. So what next signal aspect does, by default you can see on the next signal indicator whether it's a green, a yellow or red as it's just indicated. But if you turn this off, which I'm not going to do right now, but if you turn that off, then you'll see where a signal is, but not what colour it is. So it'll just show up as a grey dot, a grey circle on the screen. So that, again, it's one step more difficult, effectively, because you now have to be paying attention to the signals. Whereas it's with these on, you can still see where the signals are coming up. So it's very useful. But that's how you carry that. Moving on. Oh, press E to continue.
This train is ready to go. Push the indicated handle all the way forwards to get moving.
Looks complicated, doesn't it? Well, that's fine. All this is doing is getting you interest, getting you started with trains. So this is a nice, easy start.
The line from here runs to the border with Holland and Belgium and forms part of the international network of services that operate across Europe.
Simpman, it's nice that you can use the keyboard controls or manually operate. The same is
This
true on the
particular
console
train
as
is
well.
a third-generation intercity express built by Siemens in Germany for international operations. It is formed of 8 cars and has a top speed of 320 kilometers per hour.
So you can't in the tutorial, but you can hover over and you can click and drag the controls as well. We'll get into that as we start driving properly.
Train Sim World allows you to ride and drive from a selection of camera views. Let's take a look now while exploring this train.
So it says press 3 to access exterior camera.
Other internal and external camera views are available to be explored. These can be accessed from the camera menu.
Just using cursor keys, mouse wheel to zoom in. So other cameras, like you can use the 8 camera, and then you can do your own little flybys. Return to first person.
You've only explored a small area
Right,
here,
it's
so
hypey
let's
video
take a look
time.
at what else there is to enjoy. Welcome to West Germany. Prepare yourself for a high-speed ride on the world's first international railway line, linking Köln with Holland and Belgium. Experience the thrill of driving the highly modern ICE 3M electric high-speed train up to 250 kilometers per hour, or take in the sights of the border region while riding the versatile BR442 Talent 2 articulated multiple unit. International Express or Tranquil commuter service. You set the pace. Along the way, don't forget to place route maps, apply safety signage, place hazard cones, and restock first aid points. Welcome to the Koln-Aachen high-speed line.
There you go, folks. So that's the route intro. So after the route intro, what happens next? So one of the big questions that we had, except I've got journey mode, the auto journey thing turned off, but that's fine. What would then happen is it would pop up and it would move you on to the very next thing. So let's just go and have a quick look at journey. So in here you would be doing high-speed connection, and you've just done the route intro. So the next thing it would do is drop you into the Talent 2 introduction, and you do that. So I can manually call up something in the journey to do that if I want to. There is a setting, I will show you that in a minute, which you can choose. Let's wait for it to jump in and then we'll pause it a minute. So if I just pause it, under settings, at the bottom here you've got auto load journeys. So when you finish something with the normal flow by default, the autoload journeys is on, and at the end of doing a scenario or tutorial, it will try and take you as quickly as possible into the next one. If you don't like that, if what you want it to do is go back to the menu so you can pick the next thing to do, just turn this off, autoload journeys. Turn it off, and then it won't do that anymore.
Welcome to driver training here at Aachen Depot. Here you will be taken through the operation of a BR442 Talent 2 electric multiple unit. During this brief introduction, we will go through the train preparation, critical driving controls and passenger operations. When you are ready, climb aboard to get started.
Oh, when I'm ready. Right, let's go and do something else then. What's that? No, let's get on with it. Be here all day otherwise. See the instructions there. Click on a door to open it. Press E to climb up.
In normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a pantograph. However, since the pantograph is currently in the down position, we have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery.
Batteries on.
Take a seat in the driver's position. This is where you'll be spending...
I interrupted him.
With power available, use the master switch to unlock the control desk and turn on the multifunction. The reverser determines the direction of travel. Now activate the pantograph so that it raises up and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
Is this thing. This will raise up in a minute. See? Like that. Just like that. Close the main circuit breaker. We can now feel the power.
For normal operation.
What does it want? High beam. There you go.
Set the indirect brake to release. Finally, disengage the parking brake.
So this tells me that the parking brake is on, so I click that.
Use the combined power brake handle to apply power and get going.
Parking brake is just released. We apply some power. And away we go. It says to reach 10 kilometers an hour, so let's do that.
Coasting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce motor stress and maintenance requirements.
So let me just put it to 0 like it asked for.
Apply a small amount of brake force to achieve a comfortable and safe stop.
It tells you this a bit early, actually. It wants you to stop in the station. You notice it says that it's 350 meters away. That's where it actually wants you to stop. So it's a little confusing. I'm going to speed up so that we're not here all night. And now it's a stop at instruction for 160 meters. Oh, ICE3 on the left there. Coming into Aachen, platform 2. Putting the train into brakes, which is the other side of it. So this train uses a combined handle brake, so the top half is throttle and the bottom half is brakes. I'm going to cover brakes a bit more when we get to America.
To ensure all is safe before unlocking the doors.
So you can unlock the doors by pressing that button, or you can press the U key, D-pad right key, press tab and press unlock doors on the right. There are many options. You look on the outside, you can see the doors are open. You have peeps on the train. I press 3 to get to an outside view. Don't forget you've got a wide range of cameras. You can't just press E and get out anytime you like. You're not stuck in the cab. You can get out and wander around and go and talk to the passengers. Hey, how's it going? Are you good? Excellent. Can I just see your ticket, please? Thank you. And your ticket? Yes, thank you. Okay.
It's time to get going. Set the doors.
It's time to get going. Everybody else is riding free because I didn't get to check your tickets, but that's fine. Right, let's get the door shut. Sit back down. Alright, middle button closes the doors, or you just repress, like in this case, the U key for right doors again. But we'll press the button. Passenger lights? Now they can sit in the dark.
Proceed to the next stop at Aachen-Rote Erde, unguided this time, and see how you get on.
I'm sure I'll do well. I won't miss a station at all. Never miss one in my life. Right, so we're getting on. Again, you can see next signal is up here in the top right, and you can see the distance to the signal is 96 metres. Next speed limit is 100 kilometres an hour. The current speed limit is this red marker here, and my current speed is the white bar. So I'm going to drop the power now because we're around running about the speed limit. Speed limit here is 40 kilometres an hour. I know you have every confidence, Jason. It'll be fine. So we're just carrying on here. You've got information in the centre panel. You can toggle this to dark mode if you prefer by using the this half 50-50 button here. You can switch whether or not you want light or dark mode. Must admit, I prefer dark mode. Doesn't everybody these days? So we've got a yellow signal here, which we can see also mimicked here. I am not going to teach you German signals. There is a really good video on YouTube which teaches you German signals. This is a tutorial, train boy. So yes, for the purposes of this, we're keeping it simple. So we've just got to go the 1.1 kilometres to Aachen-Rote Erde. There is the yellow block signal. Feels really odd not using PZB. If you're not familiar what PZB is, don't worry. It's waiting for you. Right, we're just coming into Aachen-Rote Erde now, and as always I apologise for my German pronunciation. Right, so when you're stopping, you've got this colour bar here. If you're on the keyboard, control... one of the control keys lets you turn that on and off, but I can't remember which one. Right, so we stop roundabouts here, or thereabouts. And this time we're going to want this one over here to open doors on the left hand side, or the Y key, or D-pad left if you're on controller. Does dark mode work in tunnels? Yes, because it's still lit up white, so you can still see it perfectly clearly. It's really down to what you prefer. I like the dark mode because with the light modes feels like it's just making everything else feel a bit darker, if you see what I mean. Too much brightness.
Good work. That concludes all of the basics of operating this train.
And that's that. So that's a train tutorial. Whenever you have any kind of new train in Train Sim World, they all have a tutorial teaching you the basics of driving the train. Basically, it's how to go and how to stop. And you can get a medal too. It's good. Right, okay, I'm not going to cover too much stuff. So when you finish some gameplay, you get this here, which is the continue journey. We did the this tutorial, which is the BR442. It's now giving me the option to carry on the journey and do the BR423 introduction, or I can replay this one again. If I had to save, I can reload that that last checkpoint back up again. But I'm just going back to the main menu and just remind you. So again, continue journey, go to high speed connection, chapter 1, and you'll see that this is the one that we just did and it's now marked as ticked. You want to do the next one, you just double click that and away you go. and that's how you will you can pick up the next thing there. I'm not going to run that one today, but you can see there's a whole bunch of different things available to do. It works out to somewhere around 24 hours of gameplay sat inside here. But that's not all that you've got to play with. I mean, if you've got other DLC, there are other journeys that can show up. So this is all the journeys from the BR187. The easiest way to think of these is a little bit like a mission story, mission sequence. What they're actually doing is looking at this stuff here. So under the Explore menu, you can actually individually access all the tutorials in one place. So if you want to know where all the training is for this route, it's all in here, and you can do that as you wish. You just double click on it and you can play it. Scenarios, again, all of the scenarios that are in here. Scenarios are like scripted mission gameplay, and you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff to choose from there. And timetable, of which there are two. I'm going to use the original release timetable just to keep it simple. The second one comes in a different pack called the New Journeys Enhancement Pack. So you can, here, you can pick a train, and then it will tell you, look, for example, the Talent 2, there's 35 things you can do with the Talent 2. The BR406, which is the ICE3M, there are 14 things I can do with that. So let me go into the ICE, and you can see that there's a big list of things. Now this timetable is all of the trains on this route doing their thing. So again, if I pick the 185, you'll see all of the... Let me just turn off them screen messages. So this is all of the different freight services that are in there, and all these trains are all running all the time. So depending on when you drive, say, your ICE3M, you might see freight trains going in the other way, Talent 2s going in the other way. And in most cases, if you want to, you'll find it somewhere on this menu. You can find it and you can drive that service. You can even get out of your train and go and pick it up if it stops. Do it yourself. So there's lots of options and flexibility, and this is what we call service mode or timetable mode. We'll do a little bit more with that as we go. But I wanted to start by just getting you a basic overview of where the gameplay is, what the gameplay is. And what I would say is, if you're not sure what to do, just go to Journey, continue, and carry on with the next thing in here. This will keep taking you to the next thing to do that's interesting, and take you through tutorials. You shouldn't ever be asked to do something, drive a train, without having done a tutorial for it, for example. So let's go back, and there are 3 routes that came with this. Remember at the beginning we had the Sandpatch Grade, the Koln-Aachen, this one, and we had the Bakerloo line. So when you're at this route screen here, you can click the switch route button, and that will take you to the list of routes you've got installed. Now I've got lots of stuff installed, so let me just find the 3 that are actually relevant to what we're talking about here. That's these ones. So you'll just have 3 if all you've got is the base pack, so you can see which one you want to do. So let's take a change here, and we will go to Sandpatch Grade. Now again, because I've not done anything with Sandpatch Grade, it will always run the route intro. So we'll do the route intro. I'm going to shush for the route intro. Mostly.
Welcome to Train Sim World 2, an immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world. You've just been awarded some action points. These are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience.
Neither of those locos. Oh no, the second one was a
CSX
CSX
loco.
loco.
Fully observant of the surrounding world. Practice by looking up, down, left, and right.
Here we go. See, already we're starting to get a bit frustrated about this. But here we go.
Besides operating trains, there are lots of requirements to navigate on foot. Try moving around now.
So again, we can now move up here. We're at Mance Curve on the Sandpatch Grade here. So again, we're following the blue markers. We found the end. Oh, and there's a new train arrived. Collectible hype!
This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one. Climb aboard and take a seat in the cab with the engineers for a short ride.
So we've sat down in the seats. Look at that view.
You can pause the experience at any point and review previous and current objectives. Check it out now, and then return to the game when ready.
So I'm going to press the pause key. So again, we went through the pause button. You can see the different map on this one. We are currently here at Mans, about halfway around the route. Schedule, again, it's not particularly meaningful to do an actual thing. Your history of instructions, all the same stuff that we covered previously.
A lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the engineer's seat. A heads-up display has appeared on the right side of the screen. This is a guide to what the train is doing. This is the speed display. The white needle shows current speed. The red marker indicates the maximum permitted speed.
Some of this may seem familiar, but that's because we don't know which one will be the first one you do. So we need to make sure that whichever way you go, because if you're an American player, the chances are you don't want to be forced to play some German content first, and so on and so forth. So we kind of need to make sure that the game supports everyone that's playing, whichever way route they come in.
This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions. This is the power display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in. These are brake indicators. They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them.
I am going to cover the brakes in a little bit of detail a bit later on.
In the top right are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication of what is approaching and a countdown distance to when they will come into effect. Some of these displays can be hidden via the settings menu for a more challenging experience. This train is ready to go. Pull the indicated handle all the way back to get moving.
And away we go!
Sandpatch Grade offers the ability to operate powerful and heavy freight trains on one of America's most stunning and famous railroads. You are currently riding an AC 4400 CW locomotive. These are the workhorses of trains operating over the Sandpatch Grade, with CSX Transportation having more than 600 in its roster.
Let it continue.
Train Sim World allows you to ride and drive trains from a selection of internal and external camera angles. Let's take a look now by exploring the exterior of this train.
Engineer Kenny, no, the 465 goes to London in reality, but via a completely different route. So it can't drive on the overhead wires. It's only third rail, so you can't take it to St Pancras, no. I do like the CSX Y101 livery.
Other internal and external camera views are available to be explored. These can be accessed from the number keys.
Back in the cab.
You've only explored a small area here.
Video hype.
So let's take a look at what else there is to enjoy. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Crossing the Allegheny Mountains, the Sandpatch Grade is a vital link in the sprawling CSX rail system. Master the controls of powerful American freight locomotives operating out of the vast Cumberland Yard facility. Whether the sun is shining, there's a rain shower, or a full-on snow blizzard, it's up to you to keep the rail traffic moving. Battle your way over one of the steepest railroad grades on the East Coast. Along the way, don't forget to place safety posters, collect lost hard hats, put up no trespassing signage, and fix broken snow markers. Welcome to the Sandpatch Grade.
There you go. So that was the route intro for Sandpatch Grade, because the first time we've gone into it. Again, you first go in time you go into a route, you'll get that. You don't have to play. At any point you can press escape and jump back to the main menu. So if you're not interested in the route intros because you already know how to look up, look down, look left, look right, etc., then press escape, click go to main menu and get on with what you want to do. So I'm going to pop back to the main menu at this point. And we're going to go and have another look at the journey inside of here. So Sandpatch Grade Journey is the default one. C40 is one of the Loco DLCs. Patchwork is then the is the stuff from the New Journeys pack. So let's look at the Sandpatch Grade. Welcome to the railroad. So the first thing we're going to get asked to do in the journey here is the GP38-2 introduction. So I'm just going to run that. Again, if you've got auto load on, it would have just taken you straight here.
This is the latest generation General Purpose Type 38 locomotive built by the Electromotive Division of General Motors. Known as a GP38-2, it packs an efficient 16-cylinder diesel-electric motor able to generate 2,000 horsepower.
Climb board, it says. Walcott.
First off, walk over to the locomotive as indicated.
That's actually a good shout on the left. When you stand anywhere near the track, the reticle goes red to imply you're in danger. No, there is no door in the nose of this one like there was on the other one. The door's around the side here.
Open the cab door and proceed inside.
Hello, buddy.
To take control, you'll want the engineer's seat. Head over and sit down. Safety always comes first on the railroad. So to start with, we need to let those around us know this locomotive is operational. Begin by turning the forward headlights control to bright.
So as the tutorials go, we're going to be in pressing a lot of buttons and moving a lot of switches right now. Right, so this is how you get these things set up, and the setup on these isn't as efficient as it could be. It's something we're looking to revise for future content, but bear with it. So front headlight to bright, which is what it says.
There are three key controls to operating this locomotive: the reverser, brakes, and throttle. The reverser determines direction of travel. Put this into forward.
So with the reversers, the reverser is like it's a removable control on these. So the first thing you need to do is click it to insert it, and then you can drag it whichever way you want. So I'm going to put it in forward.
To the left is the auto brake, which applies brakes along the entire length of the train. Let's move this to release. We're about to move. So make 2 blasts of the horn to alert anyone around. Now add some power, but not too much. Too much.
There we go, removing. You can see amps being generated down here on the HUD. You can also see amps being generated here. It's a diesel engine, so you're using the diesel engine into a generator to generate electricity, which goes into the traction motors, which makes them go round and the train move. So hence why you've got amps, it's how much power you're generating. And that bell, which I can't turn off in the tutorial. Okay, we'll all be insane within a couple of minutes, it's all good. that bell. Go and give it a knock for me, yeah? No, the controls are all locked out, Entis.
You're moving. Great work. To maintain a constant speed, move the throttle back to its idle position. That concludes the basic engineer training on this locomotive. So let's bring it to a stop. Move the auto brake to initial reduction. As with applying power,
Right, so one thing I want to clarify with this: if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't be using the auto brake to stop the train. You'd use the locomotive brake. The reason we teach you the automatic brake is for simplicity's sake. The automatic brake is the one you'll use most of the time.
Operating the GP38-2.
Hang on a minute.
There's always more that can be discovered, though. As engineers, we'll never stop honing our skill.
Yes, so you use the automatic brake more often than not. But ideally, when you're running on your own, you'd use the independent brake, the one below it. Well, I'll go into more detail when I cover just a rough overview of brakes in a bit. But that's why it covers the wrong thing. It's still fine to stop the train like that. Okay, so that was the next step on the journey here. I'm going to follow the next step, the yard switching tutorial, actually, because this is quite useful and relevant as well. So let's go into yard switching. This is all about giving you a grounding in some of the basics of how the game works. Game, sim, you can pick your word.
So, you want to learn about yard switching? Let's take a look. Before a train goes anywhere, crews arrange all the cars together. Meticulous planning goes into making sure the right cars go to the right tracks to make up the right trains. This process is called switching. Climb aboard this locomotive and we'll get started.
Notice what I was saying, when you move closer to it, it pops to where it actually wants you to go. So let me just jump up the stairs here. Have a look here. Close the door. And we'll sit down. Right, remember, insert the reverse handle. Right, we get lots of buttons, things pop up now.
Set the locomotive up and pull towards the cars ahead. Take it easy, though. 5 miles an hour will do just fine.
If you hit it at 5 miles an hour, you're going too fast. But it won't do well. Right, so, forwards, generator field on. These three switches all need to be on, but you should only ever find this one in the off position. I'm going to cut the brakes in. I'm going to cover what this does in more detail later. Put that to release. This switch isn't covered in the tutorial. It's the MU2A. You do need to set that to lead or dead. That bit is commonly missed by people because it's not in the tutorial, yeah? So applied a little bit of power. Here we go.
Gently bump into the cars up ahead. The couplers will engage automatically.
So the knuckles, as they're called on here, are such that when they come together, they tighten up automatically. So use the left and right arrow. You can get to a head-out view as well. This is the right arrow. And again, we're looking for these. Now, keep an eye on what it says up here. Sometimes you can go via them, and sometimes you must stop at them. This is just a couple too. So this is actually, we're just not going to need to stop here. So we'll just keep going a bit. Give it a little bit of power. Let me just, well, this is approaching. I'm going to use the 8 camera, which is literally, I pressed number 8. If you look at the coupling, this is, you see where this coupling is, this is leaned out. If you look at the locomotive, it's also leaned out. Well, you'll see if you look at one that's actually coupled, you can see that they're both in. They're both locked in like that. It's this bit on the end here I'm talking about. I stopped. Crunch. There you go. See, delicately done. Right, we've now coupled up.
That's it. You got this.
Back in
Now,
the cab view with the
hold
one
them
key.
back beyond the switch in the track.
So I'm going to use a reverser, which I've now put in the back position. Again, use the right click to turn the move around. In the control, and if you're on a controller, it's the same. You just look around. So put some power on, and we're moving. If I press 3, you can see the whole train is now moving. Excuse me. Right, this is a stop marker down here. It says stop the train beyond the track switch. So we'll stop where the blue marker is. Now, at this point, you've been taught in the tutorial to be using that control, and that would be fine to use now because you've got wagons coupled to them. You can stop it fine on the independent brake, but we'll stop it with the automatic brake anyway. Right, so we'll put it on a bit of automatic brake. They're only wagons, doesn't matter if it stops.
To put these cars with the others on the adjacent track, a switch in the track must be changed. Climb down from the locomotive and walk to the switch.
Right, press the E key to stand up, and we'll have a wander. So let's, again, using the shift key to walk around. We again walk over to our blue marker.
Move the lever so the rails align to the other direction.
Question, lever or lever? I'll leave that deep philosophical thought with you.
Excellent. We're all set. Climb back aboard and push the cars down the track, connecting them with the others already there.
Right, we'll climb back up on the steps. Goal is to get back in the engineer's seat. Right, we're going forwards again. Drive forwards, it says. Which hopefully there's a blue marker somewhere around here. Oh no, it's just telling me. Set the brakes, the reverser to forwards. Brakes to release. Come on. Do it. Thank you. And we put the throttle to notch 1. You should find that a blue marker appears. There we go. I'm going to couple to that consist over there. Right, so Hentis, I think you made a good statement actually. The Train Sim Classic has a coupler camera, but if you press the number 3 key, you can just put the camera wherever you like and watch it like that. So the number 3 camera, which you can access on the controller by just clicking the right joystick, is a great way of getting a camera to anywhere you want. So we're going to couple up to these up here. What you want to do also is check to make sure when you're coupling up that these are in the out position. I'll show you what happens, what that looks like when they're uncoupled in a minute. If they're not in the out position, if both of them are closed, they bounce off each other. So if you ever try and couple up and they just bounce off each other, it's because at least one of them needs to be in the open position. Right, I'm going to just do a little bit of brake. I'm just using the keyboard to control it while I'm out here. Again, you could use the controller if you're on the console. You reckon 5 miles an hour? That one is out as well, which is good. And we couple up like that. Perfect. Right.
You're doing great. Keep it up.
So I'm going to leave a bit of brake on.
Now to uncouple the locomotive from the cars, climb down and walk to the first freight car.
It wants me to tie the handbrake on.
Pull the cut lever to disconnect the locomotive from the cars.
So, uncoupling has an icon either there or sometimes you'll see them in the middle up here. And it actually means to uncouple the coupling down here. It's slightly confusing. And this is what they call a cut bar. So what it does is it releases a latch down here which unlocks it.
And that's all there is to it. This process is repeated until all the cars required are assembled on the same track. To finish, climb back aboard the locomotive and move it.
So what I'm going to do also is down here, you notice we uncoupled by releasing the cut bar over there. And this one is still in the closed position. And this is where you can start running into problems. So what you need to do is the cut bar on the locomotive. Don't forget to do that so that it releases it. If you watch the knuckle here, when I click this, it'll open that out. Now if you want to recouple up to something else, you won't run into a problem. Okay? Easily forgotten. I do it myself all the time. Right, let's put that in reverse. We'll turn the brakes off. And we'll put the power on. I'm just using the independent brake to stop at the moment. The bottom one here. Independent brake is much faster to use than the automatic brake. That's why I'm using it. It's no use if you've got wagons connected because it doesn't apply the brake on the wagons. That's what the auto brake is there for. Right, okay, so that was the yard switching tutorial. So now what I'm going to do is move on to the next thing, which is Y101. Now I don't think we'll do all of Y101, but there's a couple of key points in there I want to get across as well while we're here. No, not that one. Y101-Morning Delivery. You can pick and choose anything off the journey. You don't have to do it in order if you don't want to. You can pick anything you like. So, when you're in this, you're now in... I talked earlier on about timetable or service mode, and we're now in the timetable. So you can see it's got this standard entrance screen telling me I've got 232 tons, 2 vehicles. That means I'm just 2 locomotives. The length of the train is 38 yards, and it just wants me to do some stuff, and it's going to be about 15 minutes of stuff. So if I press 9, it will now leave you entirely to your own. You now need to remember how to get the train moving again. So gen field needs to be on, reverser needs to be in and forward, headlights need to be on, cutout brake on freight, MU2A valve on lead. I'm going to apply the independent brake, release the automatic brake and let the brakes recharge. While that's happening, map view. This is the map. I pressed the number 9 key to do it. On your Xbox controller, it's the squares button on the left-hand side. On your PlayStation controller, it is to touch the touch bit. You press that, and then that will bring into the map. Now, on the map view, there's a couple of really interesting things. One, the coloured-in train is yours. The white trains and other vehicles, like these ones, are AI or static, or they're not you. The blue one is you. This blue line is where the game wants you to go. So, and you'll notice these things here. These are the junctions or switches, and it tells you, the black indicator tells you where it's going. So if you hover over it, it changes colour so you can see exactly what this is doing. And if I click it, it changes. Now, if you find yourself going into the pause screen and clicking full map, you're going to get a map view, which is going to look decidedly similar. However, when you click a junction, nothing happens. It's because the game is now paused. so it won't happen. This is not where you go to change junctions. You press the number 9 key to bring up the map. When you can hear the sounds of the train, you know the game is not paused. So we've got the switch here, and all I need to do here is align these switches to follow the path that I want to take, which is the blue line it's telling me to. That's that one. That's that one. Keep following the line. This is all good. That one's wrong. You don't have to worry too much about what they call trailing points when you're driving over it this way, because it will flick itself automatically. It's leading points which actually change your direction where you go the wrong way if you don't set it right. So this one's good. This one is good. This one's wrong. This one is wrong, and this is a key one. Without this one being set, you aren't going anywhere fast in a hurry. You'll go wandering off down this track, which doesn't help anybody. And then I need to go this way, and then I need to go this way. I need to change this one. But you're just following the blue line. The blue line is telling you everything you need to know. Just follow the blue line, and as we go down here, I think we find some freight cars. Excellent. See, Cumberland is massive, and we're about to find that out. So, we got everything set up. Release the independent brake, and let's apply a bit of power. With any luck, we start moving. We did! Yes! Yes, the brake will change when you unpause Orbinaut. However, it's confusing for most people that it doesn't change, and they don't realise it does change when you unpause. So, always use the number 9 key to change the map. My one tip for new learners, says BalGB, make sure you get used to observing the maximum current speed marker on the speedometer, which is this red marker here. The white is your speed, the red is the maximum speed for the track you're on. If the speed limit is going to change, it's up here in the top right, assuming you've left the defaults on, where I've got 300 yards until a 15 miles per hour, which is an increase on the current 10 that I've got. Right, so let's move forward a bit. So again, when you're moving in the yard, you want to use the 9 key, and the key thing to remember is that the blue line tells you where to go. Just set the junctions, hover over them, and you can choose the junction path you want to go, and make sure you go the right way. You can also check, because you can see yourself moving, if you're going in the right direction. If you're not, back up, change the point, try again. Let's go outside. We're doing 10 miles per hour speed limit because we're in the yard, so there's not much that we can do, but we'll carry on. Now, while you're running as a light loco, I would suggest using your independent brake, which is this one. You notice how much faster it is to apply and to release the brake. So you've got much more precise control over it than when you use the automatic brake. However, as I said, the independent brake will only apply them on the train, the locomotive. It won't apply them on the whole train. The automatic brake will do the brakes on all the rest of the wagons. So we'll give it a little more power. We've gone into the 15 miles per hour limit now, so we can absolutely drop the hammer. So again, if we hit the map, you can see that we are proceeding along the blue line nicely. Now, what I do is when I'm doing switching or anything like this, I just want to go through and double check all of my knuckles are open. You can do it in the 3 camera. That's open as well. You can just click the button to set the knuckles if you need to. Or if you want to be more authentic, you can stop the train, get out and do it the other way. It's entirely up to you. Play it the way you want to. So while we're heading forward here, the other thing I want to cover is that you can change junctions in multiple ways. So you can press the 8 key and you can fly over to a junction and you can just click it, and then that will change the junction. So if you know what junction it is, you can just hit it with the 8 key. You don't have to get out of the cab to do that. You can just press the 8 key, fly over to it and click it. You can also get out of the train, walk over to the junction, which is what we did in the yard switching tutorial. just leaving it to run. Don't worry about that red light. That's the red light for exiting the yard down the Mexico end of the yard, which is where we're headed, but we're not going to be leaving the yard, so it's not something to worry about. There's no signals inside the yard at this end, certainly for where we are. About 1.5 miles away from where we are going. Pressing the A key is a good way to fly around. You can get some nice shots. You can go and explore other things. You can even interact with them as well. So, for example, down here, we can lift the lock and open. No. Lift the lock, open the door. Better shut that before someone gets upset with me. Let's get back to the train. How are we doing? Right, this is where we start crossing over. You can see the junctions are turned. This is my version of the Colonel Cam. There you go, look. See? Expertly done. Perfectly lined up. It's the lazy man's Colonel Cam, which is why I like it. Actually, the controller is really good for doing for adjusting the camera because it's an analog. Why is there no 8 key on the Xbox anymore? There is, actually. First of all, you can use a keyboard and literally press 8. But secondly, if you use the camera shifts, hold down the right joystick, and from the cab view, you press right D-pad 5 times. It cycles through different cameras, and the 5th one is the free camera. But that's on the camera shift. Right, so we actually go downhill a little bit here. So on the HUD down here, you can see the gradient here. It says I'm a -1 in 493. So I'm actually going to apply a little bit of brake on the independent. This is an accelerometer. When it's perfectly lined up like this, we're not accelerating or decelerating. If I apply a bit more brake, you'll see the bubble falls below the line, and that means we're slowing down. Actually running 1 in 40, so we're back to speeding up again now. So a bit more independent brake. And again, independent brake because we're running light. No, we've got no wagons behind us. Freight cars, I apologise, we're in America. Right, we're now back on a 1 in 60 up, so release that brake. And then we actually probably want to put a couple of notches of power on to get us up the hill. 1 in 30 to go on this side. Got a train rolling over here. I'm going to cover brakes in a little bit, Richard, but there's no reason you'd be using dynamic brakes at these kinds of speeds, and you wouldn't on your own particularly anyway. So let's do some brakes. So there are 3 brake systems on this train. You've got the automatic brake, which applies the brakes to the entire train. The locomotive brake, or the independent brake, which applies the brakes only on the locomotive. And you've got the dynamic brake. What the dynamic brake does is it uses the traction motors in reverse, essentially, to slow the engine down. So it's difficult for me to show you that in this example. But essentially, you use a dynamic brake for coming down hills, and you use the automatic brake for if you need more support when you're coming down hills, or if you want to actually really seriously slow the train down or stop it. And then if you're running on your own, you use the locomotive or the independent brake to manage that. These gauges here are telling you about the what's going on with the brake system. So if I apply a little independent brake, you can see that red needle just moved up a bit. That's the brake cylinder pressure. So that's on this locomotive, how much there is. If I release it, you can see it comes off. If I apply the automatic brake, you can see both of these move and this moves. And in fact, the main res is doing stuff as well. There's a bigger tutorial. Let me turn the gauge lights on. doesn't really help, does it? I key to turn gauge lights on. It doesn't really. I've got a bigger tutorial on YouTube which talks about what all the brake systems mean in their totality. But essentially, you've got these 3 brake systems which are down here. This is the brake cylinder, main reservoir, equalizing reservoir, and brake pipe, which are down here on the HUD. And they mimic what these 4 needles are showing here. So, bigger detailed outline on the YouTube channel. There'll probably be a link put up for that. Let's just carry on and couple up to these cars. Gauge lights is a switch down here if you want to do that. Ditch lights as well. This is my speedometer. This is whether I'm speeding up or slowing down. It's an accelerometer of sorts. If I turn the power off, you can see it's doing that, and if I apply the brakes, you can see the number is negative and much bigger. So that's giving you a sort of in-world way of seeing whether you're speeding up or slowing down, which is really handy when you're coming down a hill. You click controls, you can operate them. I think you can even mess with that. Yeah, you can. There's wipers, you click and move the wipers to make them work. There's sun visor. There's all sorts of things you can click on in here. There's even some madness going on in here, but we'll leave that alone. Right. Again, while you're running light, use the independent brake. When I say light, I mean without a train behind you. When you've got a train behind you, use the automatic brake. And if you're going down a hill, you want a combination of the automatic brake and you want the dynamic brake, doing a lot of the work. Another video to look up on YouTube was when we launched Sherman Hill. I did a couple of sessions on Sherman Hill showing how you transition from going uphill to downhill. Using the dynamic brake. So if you want to learn more about how to shift and use the dynamic brake in a practical example, although that's covered as well in the braking tutorial, then look for those videos as well. I'll try and make sure there's links put up to those too. So we're coming up to these wagons. You can see all of those signals in the distance, which are the ones for leaving the yard. SD40s, ethanol train. Is it true you have to keep the bell on while doing yard work? In reality, I believe that is the case. In the game, you may choose to not go insane if you wish and not put the bell on. How about head out of cab view? So if you're in the cab here, you can press the right arrow to get out. The right arrow again will put you in the left hand. There are also other cameras you can access by using the arrow keys as well. And you can access all of these on the controller by pressing and holding the operation shift, which is the camera shift, which is the right joystick. So you press and hold the right joystick, and then you use the left D-pad to cycle between internal cameras, the right D-pad to cycle between exterior cameras. So we're coupling up to a hopper here. Independent brake is on just to ease us up. Because again, we're using light. You want to have good control over your brakes. So use your independent. Once you're coupled, put an application on the automatic brake because it will help charge. It'll sort out the rest of the brakes as well. So I can either get out. I don't have to do anything. We're just pulling back. You notice that we're all coupled up. If at this point you find that the train will not move because you're trying to release to move and it just doesn't want to make any movement at all, you've probably forgotten either the MU2A valve, which needs to be lead or dead, or you've forgotten the cutout, which needs to be freight. With these not enabled, the brakes are not working properly. Right, I can release this now. Independent brake is already released. Put it in reverse and we'll get going. Generally speaking, US engineers will not change cabs. They'll stay in the same cab while they're doing switching moves. If you feel like you're going to be moving in the other direction for any period of time, then you might change cabs. But generally speaking, engineers don't change cabs. Bearing in mind they've got external support watching them, such as there's a big. Let me fly over there. It's not obviously right here, but there is a big watchtower over here for the bowl, and also your conductor's going to be helping you as well. And your conductor may go and have a wander in the other cab and just radio you, but engineer generally won't switch cabs because it's a pain. I know the UK is always you must drive in the direction you're sitting, so they change cabs, whereas they don't do it here. Right, okay, I think that's about enough on US locomotives. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. So let's move on to a different route. Let's go options. And again, at any point while you're doing any gameplay, whether you've been forced into it or not, you can just press escape, go to main menu, boom. You are in control of what you do in the game. So we're going to go and have a look now. Switch routes, and we are going to go for Bakerloo line. So this is another route that's available. I am not going to do this route intro. So if you want to see in action what happens if you don't want to do a route intro when it pops up, you do this. You press escape, options, main menu, yes, boom. You are in control of what you play. And remember, in the settings screen, there is the auto load journeys. If you turn that off, then it will always ask you what you want to do next. If it's on, it will just take you to the next thing. If you're new to the game, I would probably leave auto load journeys on. Once you kind of think to yourself, actually, I don't want to be doing this, I want to be in control of what I'm doing, that's time to turn it off. Right, let's have a quick look at the journey, Life on the Underground. So again, these are sorts of instructions that you've got. There's a tutorial for the 72 stock. So what we're going to do is, actually we'll do it via this. We'll do the tutorial for the 72 stock. We'll let Andre take over the voiceover.
Welcome to your first day on the Bakerloo line of the London Underground. Here you will be taken through a brief introduction on operating the 1972 tube stock that operate on this line. During this session, you'll be taken through the startup procedure, critical driving controls, and passenger operations at several stations.
Right, blue lot.
Head over to the indicated train and climb aboard to get started.
Now, I always get on the wrong train. The key is, an indicator is telling you which train to get on. For some reason I get on the left one. And then I get really confused about why the tutorial's broken and raise tickets and everyone shouts at me. Yeah, follow the blue indicator, folks. E to climb up the steps.
Take a seat in the driver's position. This is where you'll be spending most of your time.
Open the driver's door, shut the driver's door. Sit in the driver's seat.
The control switch activates the train for operation.
No, I usually stand up for this so I can see it better, but down here they've got the control switch. The first thing you need to do is click it to insert it. See, the lever's now appeared. And now you need to see where it says control switch. There's a little bit. You see, this one says control key in. That one says control switch off. So you need to make sure you're on control switch off, and you drag that down to on. The pad train is, you've now got control of the train.
Determines the direction of travel.
Sit back in the seat. Wait, you click on the top one, and that inserts the direction selector key. And then this now says we want to put it into Inter.
This train features a combined power brake handle.
Which is this one.
Set this as indicated to begin the startup procedure.
So it wants us to put it into emergency. I'm good at putting things into emergency. This should be fine. It's in emergency. The noise will stop in a minute. Right, off and release. Right. Audible warning reset. Quiet. Right, this ground signal here tells us is a green. It's a bit like the semaphores you've seen on the Steam. It basically is a disc semaphore, and then this is giving me the route indicator. This is going to tell us we're going into platform 1. So it says to go to rheostatic 1 hold, which is back here, and now
Train
we
is
need
now ready to depart.
Set this
Set the
into.
direction selector and apply power to begin moving.
We'll go forward, and now we can apply power. So just use the shunt position. We're just going a little bit forward.
Coasting is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce component stress and maintenance requirements.
That's it. You can see
Apply
this is
small
on
amount
here.
of brake force to achieve a comfortable and safe stop.
Control 5, toggle this. Right, now we're aiming to stop at the other end of the marker. The videos I've referred to previously for Lolo the Transporter are on the Train Simulator channel. They're official videos. So just using a little bit of a brake. I'm just using the A and the D keys. You can use your buttons on the controller, or you can operate this if you want to directly. It's very
Take
musical.
a quick glance at the
Again,
platform
you can press
to
Y
ensure
key,
all is
D-pad
safe
left,
before unlocking the doors.
or open the doors. Press the 3 key, we can go and have a look. Have us a nosy. Nothing on the PIS because this isn't service mode. PIS only works in service mode because that's where all the trains are.
It's time to get going. Set the doors to locked.
Middle one to lock. So in reality you have to press both of these to open the door. You press both of them together, but you haven't got 2 mice, so you have to press one of them. And then center one closes it. The other side doors are on here, so these are your right side doors. Whistle.
Train is now ready to depart.
Got a green
Set the
signal over
direction
here.
selector and apply power. The next station on the line is Kilburn Park, where we will perform a passenger stop.
So over here we've got the saloon lighting and vent. What that's done is turn the lights on inside the train, because passengers like it when you do that. They seem to appreciate it more. See, we now have lights inside there. Up here we've got the destination blind, so I'm going to set that to Elephant Castle actually. There we go. Which means now out on the front here it says Elephant and Castle. We're all good. Going downhill, this is where we're heading underground. Queen's Park is the last station on the overground section of the Bakerloo line, and in this direction it then heads underground all the way to Elephant Castle at the other end of the line. Now, when I said previously map view, press the 9 key, the map view always works. But this route, because on mainline routes you'll find that there's no junctions to really set, but when you get down into depots, there's your junctions again, so you've got manual control over junctions here.
Apply a small amount of brake force to achieve a comfortable and safe stop.
300 yards to the stop, we'll be fine. Going downhill, 1 in 48 at the moment. When you're coming into a Bakerloo line tunnel, always make sure that you're off power. It makes it much easier to stop if you've stopped accelerating, if you see what I mean. As I understand it, that's a guideline given to the real drivers. Off power as you come into the station, and then on the brakes. Oh, look at that stop! It's like I know what I'm doing.
Take a quick glance
Right.
of the platform.
Yes. So let's go out and have a look. Again, it's your tutorial, so madness. Shut the doors.
It's time to...
It's a pretty easy train to drive. The things you'll get confused about initially until you get the hang of it are getting the
Proceed to
control
next
key
stop
in
at Maida Vale unguided this time.
and getting this
and see
lever
how
in
you
and
get
set.
on.
The other thing you might get confused about is if you click this, you can find yourself getting into strange situations with it coming up. So like that. Because that starts venting the brakes in some cases. So which means that you then need to give it a minute for the brakes to release, like now. You see it put the brakes on, and then if I put it back down, it'll take a minute to come back up. Once it's come back up, then we can go, and it should go in a minute. There you go, on it, all on its own. Something else that actually did happen there, if I click that, you'll notice that this has gone red. That means that there's been a traction interlock, so the throttle is physically cut out, or electrically cut out. So I need to reset that, and then when the brake is back up again, you'll normally find most trains have an interlock, so that when the brake pipe gets below a certain level, it automatically cuts the power out. So just make sure this is down. In reality, it's sprung, and the driver has to hold it down. Right, we're going to Maida Vale, 700 yards, so let's get some power on. I'll give it all the beans. The yellow circle over here, do you mean Metro? That is telling you that it's a safety system, essentially. It's because you've released the dead man's handle. It's giving this, and you get the bing 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 sound happening at the same time. It's all related to that. Right, so I'm off the power. You can press, by the way, L at any point to turn the cab light to whatever setting you want it to. Let's get some brakes going. So another point of confusion with this train is it has two different braking systems, and if you apply too much brakes, this sounds weird, and you go into the service application thing, even though its train has stopped, it's because of the way that I was already going slow anyway, you can actually find you end up with less brakes. So always make sure you don't go beyond EP max, which is the maximum of what they call the electro-pneumatic brakes. There is no more brake than that. Beyond that is just air brakes, which is actually going to be slower. Certainly be slower to get. You might find actually it feels like you're releasing brakes and then reapplying them again. It's not going to work the way you expect. Right. Got to unlock the doors here. You might have noticed the this light here. This is a repeater of the signal, so it's just giving you giving the driver information about what there is.
That includes all of the basics of operating this train.
Right, that's concluded all the basics of operating this train. So, a couple of little wrinkles. Let me go into a quick service. We won't do much of this service, but I just want to give there's a couple of little traps you can fall into. I'll do this via the service mode menu, and we'll just pick the default service mode. And we will go for this one, and we will pick just... actually, let's go overground because it's a bit brighter. So something that you might be tempted to do with this train is open the windows, because that's what people like to do a lot. So let's get the windows open, and remembering the steps to get going is put the control key in, put the control switch to on, and then we will put the direction selector in, put it to forward. I'm just going to put it forward. I don't do the enter thing because I'm me. You can't stop me. You can't hold me back. There are also a couple of other things down here, like the headlights, the stabling tail light, whether you've got tail lights on, so I'm going to turn those two off. Cab light, which is a fuse, I think. Destination light is on, and the gauge lights, which is what turns those on over there. Again, the I key turns that on and off as well. Up here you've got your destination, so again we can put that to Elephant and Castle. You've got a few things over here. I wouldn't play too much with this stuff until you know what you're doing with it. It'll only go wrong. And otherwise than that, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Cab light is up here. You can turn on the left light, the right light, the both lights, or the no lights. You can mess with these. They don't really do anything though. If you want more heat, turn your radiator on at home. Okay, so whistles 1 and 2. Let's get going. Oh, hang on. I told you that this meant there was a traction interlock. So is that related to this? Let's get the power applied. So we have to get this into off and release. and then we press audible warning reset. Okay, good. No, we've still got a traction interlock. Why have I got a traction interlock light? Let me see. I dropped the windows down, and these trains have a safety feature in reality which stops you from doing that because there really isn't enough room for you to be sticking your head out. So what actually you need to do, if you desperately want the window down, because it will give you slightly louder sounds in the cab, you need this drop like interlock switch, and you just turn that on. At that point you'll notice the traction interlock has come back off. Your other option, put the interlock back where it was, close the window, and your traction interlock will come off that way as well. So let's just open the window, put the traction interlock on. In reality, I don't think the drivers can actually operate that switch. It's locked because, as I said, they don't want you doing that. So we will pull forward into Harrow-on-Wealdstone alongside the West Coast main line. As I said, we're not going to drive too much with this. I just wanted to get some basic familiarity with what we are doing. If you really want to cause yourself some problems, you can actually turn off the electro-pneumatic brakes, and then you'll have to use the Westinghouse air brakes, which is a much slower system. But it's there as a fault-tolerant system. So if there's something goes along with the electro-pneumatics because of their, get a bad electrical connection, then you can use the Westinghouse. So you can simulate that by using the switch which disables the EP brakes. I'll show you that in just a minute. Let's just get stopped over here. Get the doors open. So over here you've got some switches you can play with, and which is it? One of these switches, the EP brake cut-in. So if you do that, the EP brake will now not do anything at all. You now must use the air brakes to stop the train. I am not someone who hates myself, so I will not do that because I'm not very good with the air brakes. They take a bit of practice. You do also have this brake test up here. Now I'm going to make a fool of myself now and do that, even though I can't remember how you do it. So I'm going to put that into on, right, and it says ready for brake test. Right, so what I do now from brightly is I apply the brakes. Okay, so that's applied the brakes and is discharged. And then what we do is not that. And then when the brakes have come back on again, there you go, that's green. So a brake test has passed. So I can now put a brake test back off, and I can be happy in the knowledge that my train is going to stop, because what that's done is looked at the way the brake pipe has gone up and down along the train and made sure that it's all good. Right, we've got the green light because the doors are closed, and we can get going again. Again, if you click on this because you're moving it like this, you're going to run into potential problems. Just give it patience, wait for it to recharge, it will get going again. Speed control, I'm just trying to think if there's anything there. There's a reverse lockout, which means this train at this moment in time, actually, interesting test, this trains are not allowed to back up. Sounds odd, doesn't it? Not really. You're not supposed to reverse trains. That's actually a really bad thing. People get really grumpy with you, and there's no tea and biscuits at those meetings. However, this is a game, and you can do what you like. So, if you want to go backwards, so if I put this train into reverse, and I go like this, you will see that I've got a traction interlock again. What is it with these traction interlocks? Right, let's put it into the rear one hold, so we don't go anywhere. If I now cut out the reverse interlock, and apply the power, we can go backwards. Fun. All of these realistic things. Right. Again, you don't have to turn this off if you're going forwards, but cut it back in again, and we can go forwards again properly. There you go. Right. Let's just run to Kenton, and then we'll move on. Oh, there's one more thing actually I want to do when we get to Kenton. So you're driving along, and you're thinking, "It's good. Had a good run. It's been fun." Kind of thinking, I want the AI to drive the train from now on. So I'm just going to stop here, I'm just going to stop. So we stop the train. When you're ready. ready. And I'm going to press a E key. And I'm just going to stand over here. Alright, I need to wait 2 minutes. So 7:59:36. So 8:01:36. Dum dum dum. Right, I just need to ad lib for a couple of minutes now, which I'm not very good at. So, what have I missed on the Bakerloo line before we move on back to Koln-Aachen? I think that's basically covered everything that you need to know about this. While we're waiting, you can obviously wander around the train at any point. You can sit down on seats. You can read posters, look at the maps. There's all sorts of fun things you can do, really. You can wave at the other drivers. Hello, buddy. So we've got about another minute to wait. There's a 2-minute handover. So if you're not sat in the driver's or engineer's seat of any train for 2 minutes, the game will say, so do you want me to do it then? Basically. Do you want to release the train for the AI to drive it? And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for an AI driver to turn up, which will happen in about a minute, just under a minute, nearly 30 seconds. Won't be long. And once that's happened, then we'll see what else we can do with it. Yeah, I'm going a bit fast at the moment, Liam. I know. Not long. 20 seconds. Ish. Sort of. Oh, I need a speed up time button. 2 minutes is so long. Ten seconds. Boom. There you go. Right, do you want to give up control? Yes. Ooh. AI driver appears, and away he goes. What's he doing? He's setting it to something else. Alright then, you do that. See what I get. I'm not judging. But now I don't have to drive now. I can go and sit down. I'm a passenger in my own personal Rolls-Royce Deluxe carriage. So you can be a passenger, you can drive the train, you can stand on the platform watching the trains. Train Sim World refers to all of the things you can do with trains, essentially. I think. Can't remember. No, you can't. You used to, some of the trains you can pull the second man's seat down and you can sit there and you can just enjoy the good view. We'll be coming up to Kenton shortly, where this player will be departing. Here we go. This is Kenton. Nice stop. So we can use the map, which will tell us when other trains are coming as well. So that train just arrived at Harrow and Wealdstone. And it looks like there's nothing for a little while coming the other way. Got a bunch of stuff stabled up in the depot. Let's wait for the train to go. It's got a signal. Away he goes. Oi, he's stealing my train. There he goes. Right. Fun. Okay, Bakerloo line. Done. Move along. We did the Talent 2 introduction. Let's go and do on the Koln-Aachen. So again, switch route. And we'll go to the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln. And we will continue journey. High-speed connection. And we will find the IC3M introduction.
Welcome to driver training. Here you will be taken through the operation of an ICE 3M high-speed electric train. During this brief introduction, we will go through the train preparation, critical driving controls, and passenger operations. When you are ready, climb aboard to get started.
As I say, when the voiceover is going, I'm going to shut up so that you don't get multiple people talking to each other. Again, follow the lines, click the buttons. Sometimes doors take a minute to respond. Don't go click mad like I do. There's actually a door here. Facts. Another door.
During normal operation, this unit draws electricity from the overhead catenary via a pantograph. However, since the pantograph is currently in the down position, we have to power the initial systems by priming the auxiliary battery.
Let's put it on, yeah? There you go. We can see the battery indicator just pulled up there.
Take a seat in the driver's position. This is where you'll be spending most of your time. The reverser determines the direction of travel.
That beeping is the doors closing. Fun fact, in this cab, setting the reverser
so that
takes
it raises
control of
up
the train.
and makes contact with the overhead catenary.
This is what activates the cab, essentially, is putting it in forwards or backwards. Pantograph up. Again, pantographs are these funky little things on the back here. There's lots of pantographs on this train that do various different things. There's our one on the back here. The multi-system. This train goes in multiple countries in reality, hence the M in IC3M means multi-system. So he's got multiple pantographs for different
Set the
purposes.
exterior lights for normal operation.
Right.
For this introduction, you'll be driving into Köln main station to perform passenger operations.
Right, there's a button down here for releasing the parking brake. When the light changes and goes steady
train
once the
is now
parking
ready
brake is
to
fully
depart.
released.
Release the
There you go.
brakes and apply a small amount of power to get moving.
Brakes released, apply power. And away we go! We can hear those motors whining into life.
Coasting is a method used to efficiently apply a small amount of brake force to achieve a comfortable and safe stop.
Which again needs to happen when we actually want it to happen. Does it really want me to do that now? I didn't think it did. It really wants me to do it in the station. There you go, it says so too. I like driving the ICE. I don't generally get on so well with the high-speed trains, but the ICE3 is one of the ones that proved it wrong for me. This and the TGV, they are just... I say I don't get on with high-speed trains, but I like all the high-speed trains in the game, so I guess I'm talking rubbish, really. There's Koln Station, Koln-Bahnhof, main station up ahead. We're at the speed limit. We're actually slightly exceeding the speed limit. Exceeding the speed limit. So we're coming into Köln now. If I remember rightly, we then change ends and go back out the other way. So again, we're using the train brake to slow down. As and when we need to. Fairly efficient at braking this thing, so don't worry too much. He says as he flies past the light. The The MCB is closed. For some reason it's not showing up on the screen, Liam. It's the first thing we did when we got in the train, just about. Right, I'm going to be a rebel once we get stopped here. Before we carry on, I'm going to show you something else. A little fun distraction, if you will. If you will permit me. Something to find on every route. You know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about.
Take a quick glance of the platform to ensure all is safe before unlocking the doors.
Now you can either use this controller, or you could just press U because it's easier. Right, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to get off now. And I'm going to go running down here.
While the passengers are boarding, lock down this cab and change ends, and we'll be leaving the station the way we came in.
Big old bridge across the river here. But down around these here parts, in reality, there's a couple of really big statues of horses. And in our version of the route, there's 2 statues of donkeys. There's another one over there, look, and there's this one here. Every route has a donkey. Why? Because. That's basically it. The Environment Art team there's kind of like their signature on the route. It is a badge of honour that someone is picked, and it is their job to place the donkey. It sounds a bit bonkers. It is a bit bonkers, and that's absolutely fine, because they have a lot of fun. Every route has a donkey. They're all different. I even learned recently they all have names. Yes, they do. Check the brake to release. We put the parking brake on, so we're alright. Dimmed. And deactivate that cab. So, and I'm going to do an article for Dovetail Live, possibly as part of the roadmap, I'm not sure. But we're going to do an article where we talk about the donkeys. I saw the one on Liverpool Crew and it's brilliant. So we've got to run down the other end of the train. Open the doors and sit in the driver's seats. Again, reverser takes control of the cab. Lights on normal. And now we can lock the doors with the Y key because we've changed ends. SKA Schnellverstrecker Koln-Aachen.
Nice work. This train is now ready for service. That concludes.
That's it.
All
That's
of
now
the
ready to go.
basics
Release
of
the brakes and
operating
off you
this
go.
train.
Although you will need to release the parking brake, obviously, to get back going again. But that's the end of that tutorial. So let's do a quick service using the ICE, and I'm going to get you into a little bit of safety system magic here. Although again, there is another video which covers German signals and safety systems in glorious detail. Now I'm just going to pick it off the service screen. Go into timetable, go into original timetable, and I'm going to pick the ICE3M. You can choose the month of the year, you can put some weather on there if you want to. All sorts of good fun. I'm going to go for a service to Aachen, so the Brussels Midi is going from Köln to Aachen. We're not going to run this service in its entirety. Just going to get going and just show you how to get LZB active and PZB active. So, again, we're in service mode, timetable mode now, and you are up to your own devices. You are in charge of this train, so let's put it in forwards. Pantograph up. Circuit breaker closed. Now this is behaving itself. Put the lights in normal. Let's get the doors open on the left with the Y key. And then down here, we don't need to put the battery on because it's already showing volts. But down here, These are optional, by the way. This is the safety systems which are present on trains, but they're not turned on by default. You can turn this off, you can leave it off, or you can turn it on. So you could drive what I'm doing now without doing the safety systems and do it all completely manually. Or, in this case, it's actually quite fun because LZB drives the train for you, which is pretty cool. So by turning those 3 switches on, you turn on all the safety systems, which is the CIFA, which is basically an alarm that happens every now and again to wake you or you're awake. PZB, which is just there to try and stop the train all the time, basically, but it's related to what these signals are doing. Again, tutorial covers it. A full tutorial covers that in detail. And LZB is much smoother in what it's trying to do. So, loaded passengers, please wait till 9:45. Once it says that, you can close the doors. You don't have to wait. If they're not on, ETCS doesn't exist in the game yet, Hentis, no. Right. Wait for the permission to go. No. Now, the B here tells us that LZB is active and ready to be armed. Or it's armed, sorry, ready to go live, waiting for the appropriate signals from the track. And the 85 tells me that PZB is currently active. So at this point, I'm going to release the track and go. Down here, what have we got? We got. So as we got speed up, you notice that these 2 lights are flashing. This is PZB telling me we're in start program. And again, detail of why I'm doing this is in the bigger tutorial. I'm just going to press the end key because we're all good. I know we're all good. The tutorial will tell you why I know that. So we are now good to accelerate up to line speed. So that yellow indicator that popped up here a minute ago was the CIFA indicator. If it I'll leave it to pop up again in a minute. So this train doesn't stop. It just runs 64 kilometers direct to Aachen. It doesn't stop in the middle. You'll find, I think, some of the ICs might stop at Düren, but a lot of them just run straight through. AFB should be on. Yes, you're right. Which means down here I need to press the. I need to put. That was the CIFA system. So if you're already moving, AFB needs to be maximum. Throttle needs to be 0. You click number 9 for AFB, and then you want Wieso Freigabe. AFB is now active. You can see the blue line here. Set AFB back to match the current speed limit, and apply your power. And now you've got cruise control, essentially. So this is basic self-drive. It's automatic. It's essentially cruise control. And as we come around the corner here, we go alongside a bridge. It'll all trigger. Somewhere down here, you'll actually see there's a little LZB sign next to the track. Coming up in a little bit. See the speed limit's gone up, so I can use the R and the F key to operate the target speed, or I can operate the lever directly. If you're on controller, then you use Operation Shift, which is the I want to say the X key, and then you use the buttons, I think, to operate it. There you go. That alarm tells me LZB is active. U tells me LZB is active, and all the LZB things have lit up. So now we're under LZB control of the train. At this point, set AFB to max, I can set throttle to max, and relax. And what you'll find is in a minute you can see this 140 kilometers an hour. I'm being completely hands off, other than pressing CIFA every now and again. I can just sit back, relax, watch what's going on, and in a minute you'll see it pops the speed limit up to 140 and just starts accelerating. When we get there. 100 meters plus the length of the train. Remember, speed limits go up and down based on the lowest part of the speed limit is there. Any second now. Boom. There you go. And the train starts accelerating on its own. Bit of CIFA madness. 800 metres till it goes to 160. It's quite fun this when the train drives itself. It will slow down as well. It'll even slow down and stop for a red light. It will not stop for passenger stops though. You are expected to be driving the train and paying attention. Freight train. It should pop to 160 in a moment. Seaful. There you go, 160. And that's all there is to it. Now again, you don't have to drive with LZB, PZB, CIFA, or you could even drive with one of them and not one of the others, for example. So if you don't like CIFA, don't turn it on. It's that simple. Bad guy, just don't turn CIFA on and it does it for you. Right, okay. Let's come out of that. I think we've covered everything that we need to do on the various routes. And before we finish, there's a couple of other bits and pieces I wanted to go over. So the first one is that the TSW has a set of tools. So we've got a Livery Designer, and what I want to do here is take, say, the Sandpatch Grey GP38-2 that we were driving earlier on, and I'm going to create a magnificent livery. Everyone's going, oh, really? And we click Edit. Right, so this is a repainting system, and you can do what you like. So let's put a base undercoat here that no one at all is going to be expecting. There you go. The total surprise for you all. And then you can press layers, and layers are about adding decals and stickers essentially to the train. So you can click image, and then as I go down here I can well, shall we have some mittens? Actually no, I quite like that. Let's put that on. And I'm going to leave it on the front because why not? And now what I can do here is I can make it bigger, and I can move it around. And I can use this T thing to change the fact that I can now scale it wider or narrower. So you've got all sorts of control about what you do, and you can add as many of those decals as you like. You get this list here. You can move them up and down. You can delete them. All sorts of funny things. So if I press add, this time I am going to add a shape. And shapes can be a bit more versatile actually because they're quite straightforward. I'm going to add a square, and if I select that, and then I'm going to put it on the left hand side of the train. Right, both mouse buttons down to zoom in and out so I can see what I'm doing. Right, now confirm that placement, press T, and press Shift key while you're stretching these things. Again, controller's got different set of controls that it can use. Let's flatten that stripe down. Press T, move that stripe down. Maybe we'll put it on the top of the bar here like that. There you go. That looks pretty splendid, doesn't it? Right, so here's a trick. So I kind of like that white stripe, and if I look on the other side of the train, it's not there. I can't really get to the other side of the train from this. Trust me, it's not there, okay? Right, so if I copy this entry here, right, and now I can edit that entry, and if I go into options and put change side and click the other side and click confirm, I've now mirrored it onto the other side. So you can easily mirror stuff between the two sides. If I click back, you can now see we have a lovely white stripe, and it goes all the way around the train, and we're all good. So we've made our magnificent train. We click save, and we click back, and we save it, and we come back out. Now if we go back into Sandpatch Grade, switch route, go into Sandpatch Grade, explore, timetable, and I pick the GP38. Look at this queue for the liveries. Magnificent livery. There it is. We can pick it. We can find a nice service to run. This one will do. And when we get in the game, he says, crossing fingers, we've got a nice tastefully coloured train with a white stripe all the way around it and a Santa hat. This is what's important. So you can make your own liveries, and the liveries that people make are really quite stunning, and I'll show you some of that stuff right now, because if you're like me, that's what you can do. I cannot do anything more than that. A base colour, maybe a stripe, maybe a decal. and I'm pretty much out of ideas and definitely out of talent. So what you can do here is go back to Switch Route, and you'll see this Creators Club thing down here. You need to be logged into Dovetail Live for this to work. But if you click on here, you can see what other people have created. So, drums the desk for a moment. I'm on a dev build, so you're seeing devy stuff. But here you go. This is something that Kat did, and this is something she'd done using those tools. Pretty impressive, isn't it? So you can do that, and then you can click subscribe to download it, and then you can use this stuff in your game. So Creators Club is a way of sharing content. If you make stuff, you can upload it, and if you want to see what other people have made, you can download stuff into this as well. It's an awesome system, and it's not just for content like that, it's also for scenarios as well. Let me just get into scenarios now. So let's go back into Sandpatch Grade. Here, Tools, Scenario Planner. I'm going to create a new scenario called Matt's Test, and I'm going to add a service. So this service, where are we going to start from? We are going to start from Rockwood Main siding number 2. Let's see where that one takes us. I don't know. Confirm that marker. Right, this will let us go all the way to Cumberland Hopper Track. Well, let's just go to Salisbury Main East 2. That will do. We're not going to drive the whole thing anyway. And we will not stop anywhere on this because we don't need to. It's a freight train. And we'll click confirm. And now what train will we drive? We will drive a GP38-2. And let's do it in magnificent livery, because you can't have too much of a good thing. The ones that are marked red are too long to fit in the space that you've got. So I've got a 500 meter marker, so I could do this one, for example, or any of these ones, anything that's 500 meters or less. Then Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific. Great selection of consists. Tons to do. Let's just go back to what I had before. Click that one. Click confirm. And we'll say this is first. No. First service. This will be the player service. And we hit confirm. Right, so this is basically making a scenario. Is just put any train you like, anywhere you like, and make it do anything you like. There's limits to what that can be. But essentially, this gives you the power to create your own journeys. You're also not limited. Let me play this first. So click back. There's my scenario, and let's run that. You're not limited to just the trains that come with a route. There you go. Look, kind of not sure what went wrong there, but it's on there. See, things happened. So, and then this is, you can see it's telling me to go to Salisbury Main East number 2, which is what I selected on the UI. So you're not limited to the trains that come with it. There can be any train on there. And this is something called off the rails. So under Tools, Scenario Planner, let me select that and click Edit. And then I'm going to go to Set Scenario Details and click Off the Rails. And this is where bonkers happens. So I'm going to click this first service. I'm going to edit the timetable. And I'm going to leave where we're going and what we're doing the same. So I'm just going to skip through that stuff by clicking Confirm. But now every train I own is available in here. Oh yeah, even trains that literally cannot physically run here, either because they're the wrong size or they've got the wrong power. So let's say, for example, the BR612 German tilting. No, it's a diesel. That's no fun. Let's do electric. We're going to do bonkers. Let's do bonkers. Let's do an Electrostar 375, and we'll put that in there. No, let's not do the 375. Let's do something more fun. Make your mind up, Matt. Make your mind up. Sometime today. The G44, no, that's narrow gauge. That's an even more bonkers example. Yes, I like it. We'll go with the loaded train here. Click confirm. Click back, and it says here drive an RHB or Ritishbahn G44 4-car loaded. A scenario is off the rails. So this means I can do anything. Off the rails basically tells the game to ignore reality. It'll let you do trains which don't belong there, trains which are the wrong physical gauge. This is a narrow gauge train. It should not work here at all. It will. And even though there's no power, it will still work. So I should be able to put it in forwards, master key on, put it in forwards, release the brakes and the Kraken, release the locomotive brake, and away we go. This is impossible, but we're doing it anyway because it's our game, and whatever we want to do is fine. I am in Pennsylvania on a non-electrified route, being utterly bonkers. So that's fine. You can do whatever you like, and off the rails mode lets you do that. And you can share that scenario up onto Creators Club, download other people's. You'll find the downloads that you do in that scenario planner menu. So if I just go back here, Tools, Scenario Planner, anything you download will be in here, and you can run it from here. Last thing then to cover is there's a lot of DLC, additional content. So I've shown you 3 routes, the 3 routes that come in the basic pack, which is Sandpatch Grade, Snowfallstrecke, Köln, and London Underground Bakerloo. There are additional bits of DLC that you can buy, such as Isle of Wight, Hauptstrecke, München, Augsburg, Mediterranean, Southeastern High Speed, all sorts of things that you can pick up. And there is a store. You can go into here and you can pick up additional DLCs. Now obviously I've got everything because it's got everything on here, but if there's anything that you're missing, you can click on here and then you can click buy now, and that adds it. So what that does is it adds in. So for example, if I go to Harlem Line, if I click on that, which is going to bring in the route intro, I'll show you again how you tell it to go away or to stop bothering you. You press escape and go to main menu and say yes. Right, so what do you get? You get the route, you'll get whatever trains are meant to come with the route, you'll get, in almost all cases, you'll get a journey of content. So everything you've seen on the core is the stuff that you'll be seeing in the new content that you download, whether it's trains, scenarios, tutorials, the journey. So under Explore, you've got training missions, you've got Explore on foot, which lets you literally spawn in the world and just walk around. Timetables, all of the stuff that we've looked at is all there in each of the subsequent DLCs that you pick up. Some of the other types of one of the other key types of DLCs are the locomotive ones, and what these do is they add on to a route. So for example, the Class 20 chopper adds onto the Tees Valley line some additional trains and services. So you can see it's on sale. There you go, look. And then when you go into Tees Valley Line, let's find Tees Valley Line in here somewhere. Sorry, while I spin through here. I missed it. Brilliant, well done. Tees Valley Line, again, going to demonstrate how you tell this to stop bothering you once it's finished loading. I've not got that feral baked bean kid, I'm only 10 minutes late. Press escape, main menu. So if you imagine you've just picked up the Class 20 for Tees Valley Line, where do you find that Class 20? Because there's not a route, so it's not on that front screen. Well, you'll find it in a number of places. First of all, that Class 20 has added a journey strictly for the Class 20, so you can drive it through that route. Or, if you come back to Explore, you've got a Class 20 introduction, so the training for it here. In the scenarios, you will find Class 20 scenarios are right here, and under the timetable you'll find that the Class 20 has now appeared in here with a list of things that it can do. Listen to that, isn't that gorgeous? In addition, you'll find the Class 20 appears in some other places as well. So the way locomotives work is sometimes they will layer into or substitute into other content. So for example, if I go to East Coastway, this is the problem with a brand new profile, everything you click on. Escape, main menu. Once you've done this once, it won't auto load again. So if you go into here, go to Explore Timetable, and we click the timetable, you'll notice that in here... Oh, I thought there was a 20 on here. I was wrong. Okay. Oh, maybe it's in Southeastern. Don't know. It will appear in other routes. You saw the 31, for example, was on there. Where wherever I was a minute ago. I'm getting confused now. So you'll find when you buy a Loco DLC that it adds into all sorts of different places, but that gives you an idea of where to go and look for it. So I think that's pretty much covered everything. Just a quick roundup of where we've got to. Creating a new profile, going in through the an initial route selection, what a route intro is, how to escape out of things, what the journey does, how to change the auto load menu so that it doesn't auto run into things if you don't want it to. We then looked at the US locomotives, to tutorials. We looked at the yard switching tutorial, uncoupling, the map navigation, changing junctions, the pause screen. We looked at the Bakerloo line, Koln-Aachen line on a number of different things, Creators Club, the Livery Designer, Scenario Planner, and what DLC is. Hope you all enjoyed that. Hope it was useful. Or if not for everybody watching right now, hopefully somebody in the future. Alright folks, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to come back tomorrow. We've got another video from a content creator, followed by a bit of Spirit of Steam. Okay, see you later everybody. Thanks for watching.